Radiant team ban. Dire team remaining. Ban. Radiant team ban.
Yeah. I like that. Okay.
Boom, they're doing what you said.
Dawnbreaker has been picked 4 times.
And how much win rate?
We'll win.
That's because it's
Dire team ban.
it's either TNC or
Radiant
Expression. One of those
team
teams is playing Dawnbreaker
Okay.
game. They're ruining it for everyone else.
Oh, it was TNC that picked it, it's true. You're right.
Yeah.
TNC picked it.
They picked it like twice in their last series, so I was so upset.
Alright, so they got rid of Monkey King this time, and Medusa, they leave the Wraith King, which is probably the easiest to counter
Dire
in the
team pick.
Well, that's fine, because Movic
Dire
Trust
team
actually took second.
Points away.
Yep, they didn't win the coin flip. Boom did, and they took
Nope.
Radiant.
There's the Pango immediately.
Radiant team pick.
Alright.
They knew you're gonna pick Mars. We're gonna pick Pango. Pango feels good there. It's already a hero that we know both probably want to get.
Nice to see some synergy right now. I don't know if you'd want to play Snapfire with Mars.
10
Maybe they
seconds
want to anyway,
remaining.
but I feel like a Dark Willow would be way more effective against Pango because of the
5
ability
seconds
to control
remaining.
him with roots. And Fear as well, just nice into OD. It's like long range cancel of his Meteor Hammer if they're in that situation. I would like that a lot more. Alternatively, they might just get another core here. We have seen it, although I don't particularly like it that much. I think FBZ's Mars though is like incredible.
Yep.
He's so impactful on every game. I haven't seen him play this hero and be like, oh yeah, that was
Radiant
terrible.
team ban.
Lion.
They have only played Pango 3, right? So there's not. This isn't a Pango 4 OD 3 possibility. It means we have 2 cores picked up right away that we know where they go.
I don't know about that, Cap, because I've seen this opener in so many regions,
10
like
Dire
SA,
team ban.
Western Europe, and they'll go halfway through the draft, they'll think, OD is
Radiant
fine as
team
4
ban.
or 5, right?
Oh. God.
Oh god, no, yes, I've seen this. This
Oh,
opener
no.
is the cursed opener. OD plus core is the, oh, we can flex OD, no biggie, right?
Why wouldn't they think they could flex Pango? That's the better
Dire
hero to
team
downgrade
ban.
into a 4 position.
Radiant
They can
team
just play
ban.
mid OD because they do play it. Phyllis plays it.
That's true, but
Gotcha, boy.
I like you call Phyllis, nice.
And that's kind of my problem with it is that they just picked their 3 and straight away with no. If this was Boom and they had that opener, I'd be like, these heroes can go anywhere.
10 seconds
But what do they
remaining.
trust? I say, okay, we know exactly where both those heroes are going to go, and
5
I think
seconds
Boom
remaining.
also know that and can plan around it.
Dire
Lion's a pretty
team
good
ban.
answer, better hero than Grimstroke it seems right now. Grimstroke has been suffering quite a bit.
Maybe they bait though. Maybe that's the
Dire
whole plan. Like you
team
think that they're thinking that as well.
Radiant
And Q
team
plays Pango, he has been in the past.
Mirana.
Nope. They're like, by the way,
That's a Q
it's
Mirana.
not a bait.
Yeah, that's like I think that's Q's most played hero in competitive. Mirana. I'm very happy with it. It's also really great synergy. We've seen her like pick way more because of OD's resurgence into the meta. The actual
10
Mirana combo, I
seconds
think
remaining.
that makes it more likely to be a mid OD now. It's going to
Yes.
give them like
5
great kill
seconds
potential
remaining.
to Yopaj mid, no matter what hero he's playing. I think that's why they ban stuff like Puck as well to make sure that it goes off without a hitch.
Execution heavy combo. I mean,
Not hard.
OD's in prison changes duration, right?
Whoa.
You say what, but
Whoa.
people miss arrows on normal targets all the time.
I've not
So
seen
they have
that
to
many
actually time
misses.
when the arrow lands.
Also, FBZ missed like 6 hammers in a row.
Yeah.
Good thing he's not playing it then. Isn't it?
I'm just saying,
Radiant
it happens. They're human.
Templar
How many
assassin.
arrows need to miss for you to admit you're wrong?
Oh, this is one of those
3.
bets again.
3 and I've shaved my hair.
All right. Well, TA is a really good answer to this, right? Because you have refraction,
10
so you can
seconds
either
remaining.
potentially instantly get off refraction before the arrow lands, or you already have refraction
5
on,
seconds
and you don't
remaining.
tank the imprisonment or the arrow. Yep.
It's fine. And she might struggle
Dire
a little bit
team
when he
pick.
gets his meteor hammer timing.
Grimstroke.
Can you time it so the arrow hits her before she refracts at all? Is that possible?
I think so.
I know with like Carpus, for example, you can always return the imprisonment damage, right?
Yeah.
But I think if you arrow right on top of the astral,
Yeah, there was. I know
10
some Russian
seconds
caster
remaining.
did a test of the imprisonment combination.
5
Basically, you could
seconds
always get off
remaining.
BKB coming out of imprisonment
Right.
against a certain stun. I don't know if it applies to all stun, but you couldn't do it when you die
Radiant
from
team
Aegis and
back.
come back.
Imba
Because
spirit.
technically you're not alive, so you can't queue up a command,
Oh, right. Interesting. It's
right?
interesting.
So, but when you're in imprisonment, you can't queue up.
I don't know what roles we're looking at here on both.
Maybe it's OD carry. I swear to God, if it's OD support, oh my God.
Maybe. I'm not
10
sure.
seconds remaining.
OD3 with Mirana 4 is actually pretty
Dire
Yeah, I would be
team
super
ban.
happy with that. I am not sure about the Ember on Move Trust. I think I saw it in their last series and it went badly for them. He like died mid and then started chain feeding.
10
I want to say
seconds
it's one of
remaining.
Fearless's most played heroes and one of his best heroes,
That's not,
supposedly.
that doesn't
5
speak well for his
seconds
last
remaining.
series, and I don't know what to say. I
One-
think when you're playing against Boone, like
He
looks
did go. He went 10, 11, and 6 compared to his mid counterpart that went 13, 2, and
Radiant
12.
team
So,
ban.
So I'm like, if he can execute it, absolutely, like, that's fine, wonderful. But I think from that game, it just made me scared that like he's not so good at getting back into the game. Like we saw Yopaj feed on Ember mid once, and then he found every way to get back in. He extensions, gang side lanes,
10 seconds
he
remaining.
played carefully, reservedly, and perfectly. Honestly, it was really good.
Dire team ban.
But on the other hand, Gacha Boy, he just keeps feeding.
look at this. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
What?
Look at the boom carries or the bans.
Just ban Jackie! Get rid of Jackie!
Every single ban is targeted towards their carry.
10 seconds remaining.
You're right. It's actually
I've
so many
never seen
carries.
that before.
They're also all mostly the same style of
5
carry as well.
seconds remaining.
All carries.
Yeah.
Mia.
Yeah.
Like a little bit of Loon, a little monkey king.
What
which
is left?
Well,
They banned Spectre of all heroes.
Radiant team pick.
well, those. I was about to say Conquer and Razor was still banned. Conquer, but those.
Jackie has a blame.
I know, but we're just saying they're in the pool. Maybe it's time to diversify.
No, Razor's actually pretty solid.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I mean, I feel like Boom is trying to keep him off
10
of the hard
seconds
carries,
remaining.
so if you take something,
5
Is this
seconds remaining.
Because they know Jackie's style or because they don't want him to play him? It's like,
that I don't know. It does feel like they're trying to keep him out of hard.
you have left. Is there any hard carry left?
Phantom Lancer, best hard carry.
Yeah.
He's been.
Is this he's fan 2?
Raul Ranger is in the pool, guys.
There's Naga. There's well, there's
Naga.
TA actually for the Mars, but TA matchup is very bad.
Yeah.
pick like a life
Dire team
juggernaut.
pick.
Riki.
Please,
Ricky.
never life.
Oh, they have a groom stroke. I didn't even think about that. That's a combo.
This puts TA mid, which Ember doesn't care about that much. Which is pretty good for Ember.
In terms of carries that lane really nicely with Grimstroke, Ricky and PA
10
fit
seconds
that.
remaining.
So I like you pick here. I think
5 seconds
that's
remaining.
really good against Move Trust heroes so far as well. Finding Pango and being able to take him out before he gets roll off in fights. Great. I think it's hard for a lot of heroes because Pango can, when he gets the shot, he's able to just roll up and protect himself and always get that roll off. But you can't do that in Ricky Smoke. So he'll be forced to maybe itemize differently or maybe just play way more conservatively in the back. Found.
It's a kind of decent troll game.
Yeah. He has some problems against loves T.
Like he can win the 1v1 against TA. Ricky,
Yeah.
you need the stun to set up, but the blind helps you not get hit by the blink strike, so you force tricks of the trade early.
Morphlings.
Yeah, I like Morphling
Yeah.
too.
Left.
Ursa Bear is still in the pool.
Bristleback carry. The counter to Riki.
Aw.
Can't
know-
hit your back. Possible.
Actually, not that bad this game. Oh,
You may now select
was-
your heroes.
Like, Lifestealer is in the back of my head, like, as a hero that doesn't die to Mars 6 and stuff, but he's also suffers so hard to getting silenced. which Ricky and Grimstroke both give. Obviously, the Grimstroke has travel, so Lifesteal can just rage it, but
Oh, you haven't had Lion Hex to set up though, so you
Yeah,
have 0 cast point stun plus
really good
silence.
stuns, and they have Grimstroke ult to help control him in fights.
Also, the
And
quarter
they have
core.
TA. Like I think TA just wins the Lifestealer matchup 9 times.
So does Ricky actually.
There wasn't a lot left. It is really hard.
Yeah, I don't love it.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't love it. I
Oh.
wish they did.
Fango.
So it is off lane OD.
Yep. I mean,
I think
there's.
that line that's actually fine
Nice.
into Ricky. I think
Yeah.
as a laner.
I'm glad. You know what? I'm already happy with Motivate Trust. They're gonna lose because this Lifestealer's not gonna be able to do anything.
Yep.
But they showed they are willing to change. They're willing to do Pango 4 position. This OD is off lane. I'm happy with it.
All right. Important. Change is good. Change is
Yeah.
important. But sometimes change is overrated. Which is why we don't change our casters. Which is why we stay with the golden duo of MLP and John.
Thank you very much, Mr. Aviplus. It is indeed MLP Dota and John X5. John, welcome back, sir. Another fantastic day of SCA Dota. How you doing, sir?
Doing great. This is a really exciting matchup. Boom up against Motivate Trust. This probably is one of the determining matches for who goes to the major, right? And we've seen this matchup multiple times before. Most recently in the Veneski Masters, that went 5 games. Motivate Trust did win the first 2 games. They just got reverse sweep, so we'll see if they can carry that momentum. And the panel was talking a bit about it. Draft looking a bit, maybe compromise here for Motivate Trust. So we'll see if Boom can manage to make advantage big here.
Yeah, I know the pre-matchup video, they were talking about just shutting down Jackie, but literally using all their bans on Jackie, and then
Prepare
taking
for
his Ricky at the end as well. One of his heroes. I mean, they really focused on Jackie. They were not joking around. And with that, we can head into game number 1 between these two. And it's kind of like you said, John. A lot on the line for both teams. Boom currently under. Oh wow, a sky view here. Gonna give a quick shout out to our producer and observer, Mr. Pythian, for doing this fantastic work, Jonathan. We've never seen this before. Sky view.
Oh, yeah, he's been raving about doing this for a while. Glad to see it in play. Very cinematic view. Would have been nice if both sides were maybe building up towards first blood, as we know sides like to do, but it looks like Boom is kind of playing it safe. So is a Motivate Trust holding back. So no big action yet, but lovely view, Mike. Lovely view.
Oh, it absolutely is. Absolutely is. Going back to my point, though, Jonathan, I mean, Boom Esports currently undefeated.
30
They're
seconds
6-0
to
in
bat.
terms of individual games. Motivate Trust did drop 1 series, but they are still 3rd place right now in standing. So they are still in the running at the very least to try and get a wildcard spot. When you're up against teams like Boom and T1, you can kind of guarantee those two might just make it right through the major. But Motivate Trust, they're kind of fighting for that 3rd place spot right now. Obviously, there's more games to go and everything could change up. But this matchup's very important. And if I do say so myself, John, I feel like if there's any team that could hand Boom their first individual loss, it'll probably be T1 or Motivate Trust. T1, well, they're later on. So Motivate, they've got their chance right here, right now.
Yeah, and again, we've seen it before. Motivate Trust did manage to go and force 5 games in Veneski Masters finals. Of course, they won the first 2 games. Maybe in a best of 3 that will play in their favor, but again, with this kind of draft, it's going to be a bit difficult. Still, let's the lanes break out. We are taking a peek here at mid, where we've got Nopaj on his TA and Gotcha Boy on his Ember. Panel mentioned it a bit. Gotcha Boy did not have the best of times on his Ember last time, but Motivate Trust do have that play up against TA. You can turn down refraction. You can maybe manage to lane. We've talked about TA against melee matchups, though. It can be a bit easier to land those Psyblade hits, and already seen Yopaj kind of assassin that to kind of bully out Gotcha Boy at a certain level.
Well, that's another thing they talked about in that video prior to the series starting, John. I mean, Motivate Trust, the person they fear the most on Boom is Yopaj, and I don't think that's to anyone else's surprise. I mean, Yopaj, he is kind of known as that secondary carry for Boom Esports. Does make a lot of work happen, and we'll see if Gotcha can try to slow him down here in this laning phases. For now, Gotcha's having a final time. We'll see if you can slow him down during that mid-game where you do expect Yopaj to start to escalate in terms of net worth. Still, we should have a look at the other lanes as well. Of course, over at the top lane, you will have Boom Bowie and Jackie against FBZ and Tims. Not the easiest lane in the world for a Lifestealer either, John. The Mars, obviously very, very good at just the 9 creeps away from the other carry. It's FBZ after all. He's the spine of the team. Obviously, just very consistent in the off lane, and on the signature Mars, it's going to be a hard matchup.
Yeah, you also kind of lose your combination here with a Mirana, right? Forced to run Mirana 5, not much synergy with the life stealer. You can't really go for early arrow clicks. You didn't really have anything to set up for that stun, and that gives a lot more options for Boom to be aggressive. We're seeing poke and prod at Boom Boy. He's got the stun, he's got the range, you can trade hits just fine. No real angles for Jackboy to even follow up if the arrow comes in. And the lifestealer does kind of work the matchup against Mars fine because you've got rage, but that's by level 6. Laning phase, not very easy. You're still a melee hero. Easy can still harass you out with a God's Rebuke, maybe even a stray spear can catch you up. And that's enough to put pressure in Jackboy. So far, not being slowed down too much, but you have to worry about those level spikes as they come through because those doubled stuns from Tims and FBZ can lead to some early kills.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the bot lane, the one we have left over, is going to be Masteros and Q against Skem and Tino. I suppose it's not the easiest lane in the world either for Tino here on this Ricky, but he's for now 11-3. He's having a pretty darn good time. Of course, you do also have that kill potential, the Blink Strike into the Ink Swell, and we're going to see it right now, in fact, as Masteros does get jumped. Stroke of Fate does also connect. They will just take half his HP pool as Q. We'll try to punish Tino a little bit, but ultimately can't do too much against the Ricky right now.
It's a really slow lane for Motivate Trust early on. I think Boom has a lot of options to play aggressively and defensively. Eventually down the line, once you even get the smoke screen up, Masteros is going to be in a lot of trouble. Like he's one of those heroes that really hates the silence. So there's a lot of angles for Tino to take in this lane. Maybe even opt for an early smoke screen if he feels the need. But I don't think he will. If you've seen the aggression with Stem, Inkswell's up at level 2, they'll just
Masteros. Oh, he tried to go for the Astral. Has to use it on himself to try and survive through this. Does at least avoid the Inkswell damage. Well, now Tino, he's going to cop a fair bit of damage back. Right home about this. He does have tangos. Never mind. He never got the Blink Strike off. And with that, they walked first blood on Masteros, which is something I was not expecting to happen.
It's a big kill for Masteros. They've got a lot of damage output now. They've got a good save on the Astral. And they've got a massive wave pushing in that Skem wasn't really able to manage. So now Masa can start catching levels, maybe hit level 4 a bit fast. Ricky's gonna be a little bit careful. I mean, that was a decent attempt trying to get the kill, but that Astral up, you kind of have to time it now with Master, the spell usage. And when he does find the angle to hit back, you can't underestimate the OD. Master's also building into that meter hammer real quick because of that kill. Only one part of the game, like once you've got that foundation, you could look to play.
They've got that Mirana. Boom Boy gonna drop Jackie. I mean, you kind of brought this up earlier, John. Obviously, Jackie can't really help if an arrow does connect. On top of that, if Boom Boy does get jumped like that, Jackie can't help either. So very awkward situation here for the Life Stealer. Jackie, all he can do is farm up. There's nothing to be done in this laning.
Yeah, it's just a very passive lane for Motivate Trust. I think ideally for Motivate Trust, you'd want Jackie just farm up solo and have Boom Boy rotate on to maybe look for gank attempts coming out, help secure runes, but because the Lifestealer just doesn't win the one-on-one matchup against FBZ, it's a bit tougher. At the Jackie is getting some space to farm, but it's not much faster than what we're getting from FBZ. And that does mean our Mars is still going to hit level 6 at a good point, hit phase boots, blink, and once you have that combination up and running, that's all you need from Boom. You just run around elsewhere, ignore Life Stealer, you can kind of deal with him later on, and kill everyone else that might want to set the pace for that hero.
I just think it's very concerning right now for Motivate. I mean, we're used to seeing Jackie at the top of the CS board, but he's just done a great job of slowing him down as they do spear him up and they'll force the raid. Making him feel very uncomfortable in this top lane. I suppose on the bright side, John, you do have Garcha Boy who's having a decent time on the Ember, but he is still against the Idol, and your partner's having an even better time. So, you know, I can't say that's really a positive for Motivators. Your Pash, you know, he's still having a really, really good lane.
Oh yeah. Still farming up every single time. Gotcha Boy goes to the camp. Of course, the TA can just clear out the wave a lot faster. They catch Skem out though.
They will now, but the Inksoul's going to be there to kind of ward them off. They'll try and move back in. But Yopaj is around to zone them out, so they won't even be able to get the Grimstroke, because now Yopaj will go back in onto Garcha. That's a lot of damage out. Garcha, where's the Remnant, sir? He's going to wait down. I'm not sure if he gets out of this. Flame Guard is dead. Might have missed, but he is going to end up dropping.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I'm pretty sure he had mana for a Remnant. He ended up not having it after you Sleight of Fist.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, John. I'm not sure what that was about.
Dire's
He
middle
played a bit
tower
greedy.
is
He
under
wanted to go for
attack.
receiving chains and try to run. Didn't expect the rune to kind of bail him out. Good dispel from Yopaj for the illusion. He just managed to take control from there. Motivate Trust after a really slow start. He did point out God Boy was one of the saving graces. I think now, with how your lanes are going, it's going to be slower for the Ember. They do manage to get that kill on the Ricky down bottom once more. So they're keeping Tino in check. That's going to delay the defusal timing. Ricky's not here to daily flash farms all too well, so that should Motivate Trust a bit of an edge. I think right now for Motivate, they're going to have to shift their momentum onto Masa. He's got the Meteor Hammer, he's got the damage, he's got the control. You kind of need to base your aggression around this OD now.
I mean, like you mentioned, John, he's having a great time. We have seen this before. The offlane OD can kind of transition into that game kind of core that you need to carry you through the game here for Motivate. Release junction with Jackie, kind of work together to get the job done. You're seeing your cards in that triangle now, just starting to farm up that. And this is the concerning sign when you're playing against a good TA player, is they rotate into that jungle and just disappear for a while. And once that happens, you kind of just come out with so many items and so much in farm. And I feel like it's about what we're about to see. Really nobody just slowing down. Just no roaming potential here against Japoi.
Yeah. And that's not what you tend to say when you've got Moana on hand, but Bumbu's just been forced to watch mid way more often. Tino though.
No, that's not Sarah out, but they are still going to turn with 3 heroes around. They'll make the jump in onto Bumbu. Q's going to show up. They'll try to snipe Tim's on this line. He's still making a run. Sanity's even dropped, but nobody's dead yet. Tino's out of range now. Gotcha. He's going to at least go up Tim's. They find something. If they do miss out on the big Tino kill, they only end up getting a support line for their trouble. Maybe they can sit up onto your path, though. If you return back into the mid lane, they will have Meteor Hammer to drop your punch. He'll turn around and fight. Now NPC's around. He gets the Knights Arena down. Masteroff will be the first to drop. They found a great OD kill now as Garcha is still playing in that mid lane. He'll eventually have to back and... Well, FBZ, he'll save the day. Your Page able to walk back to the fountain.
Yeah, they managed to kill off that tempo set right now of Motivate Trust. Out the OD, go transition to a mid push right now. They're giving a lot of space out to Tino to go back bot and farm up. And sure, you could argue that maybe Jackie's having a bit of a better time top. Doesn't matter that the Ricky's behind when Yopaj is so far ahead. They're gonna have TA with Blink very early on, then there's Desolators up. Once the BKB comes out after, Mike, your OD's not going to do work. No one's going to be able to touch the T. That's going to be a massive issue to Motivate. They don't have the vision to drop in the triangle as well. They're just not scouting out in the way you'd expect when you've got Mirage, when you've got an Ember. You want to be aggressive on denying out this farm. Motivate just can't get there. It's Boom that's kind of setting the pace and getting the counter initiation right.
They are 4-3 right now. Very slight net worth lead for Motivate Trust. It does feel like Boom are still well and truly ahead of this game, though. With just this TA game way too many times, and again, he's just having a very free time. And in they go again, another free kill going their way, as they've got the Pango. You're gonna drop. That'll be a very early up now for your Page. And generally speaking, John, if you do end up going for the blink before the Deso, it does mean you intend to get somewhat aggressive. And it does seem like your Page does intend to do so.
He knows he's got a really early spike where it's going to take a while for Motivate Trust to burn him down, and that also lines up with the potential blink coming in from FBZ anyway. He's still a bit off from it. Once that Morris is up, the blink along with TA, you can definitely just take all these fights coming through.
Yeah, Q's going to show up. They'll try and go onto that TA with the follow-up. They might have enough control. Your Banshee dropping low now, and they'll leave him behind. That's what you wanted to see out from Motivate, as Q setting up a very important kill here for the Dire end. For once, it will work out.
And that's a kill they needed. They needed to keep that TA down, stop Yopaj from snowballing too hard, and the movement from Motivate Trust is starting to pay off. Jackie's being left alone now. He's actually catching up to the TA within about 300 gold. The Lifestealer is going to hit Armlet, Songe timing really fast, can maybe tank up, join in, look for Infest Plus if they want to, and start swinging some momentum back towards Motivate Trust. So you're finding some wins here for Motivate. I think for Boom, they're also starting to get space for Tino. They're working towards that defusal. They are smoking up with FBZ and Schem though. They could look for another kill opportunity here.
Dire's
That's a FBZ player, even without the blink up. He just wants to rotate around the map, start creating all sorts of chaos. And Masteros and Q both right into it. FBZ, he misses out on Masteros, but they can still set up onto the Pango as now. Tino, he'll keep in. They want to keep trying to go. Masteros, he's just trying to get out, and he'll be fine. Then we'll turn right back around for immediate. Come on, into an arrow setup on the Tino with the sanities down. There will be able to trade. A very nice trade, in fact, as Masteros give a tip over to Tino. Make that 2. You know what, John? Make it 3.
Oh man, they're just bullying Tino. They're keeping that Ricky in extreme check, and that's stalling out the defusal. Tino right now is the bottom number at 4. Not what you want to see in a pause 1, but we sort of talked about this when we see a TA on mid, right, Mike? Like, the pause 1 on safe lane doesn't really feel like your true hard carry. It's almost always TA. So for Boom, sure, it's still a big loss losing your Ricky, but you're not losing Yopaj. And he died once, he still has control of the triangle, he's still farming up. You will trade your Ricky away for your TA every single time.
You will. It's kind of Tino's job here to just not really run a distraction, but again, just be a bit of a nuisance in this game and just rely on his mid laner to carry them through this one. I think the old TA works. Just never seems to change. Look back at your partner, and he's getting closer and closer to that destinator now. So halfway there. Skarcha, he's been pinged out. No defusal play yet, but they're going to try and move in with the Earth like their Tims into their hex setup. They'll have more than enough. Gacha just, again, very aggressive positioning, but he will be punished.
Yeah. It's a big kill on the Ember that allows him to push into mid tier 1, which is extremely low. So they trade off spot tier 1 for mid, much bigger take for Boom. Allows him to maybe invade that jungle, start planting some forward wards. Watch the positioning of Motivate Trust and get some ganks going. For Motivate, opening up the bot jungle will give an access point for Jackie once he does feel pressure to leave the top lane. So it's opening up some avenues for them to farm as well. You're hitting some timings here in Mars, which is really getting big. Ags is coming through next after the Meteor Hammer. So double Astral Imprisonments coming through. Very good to get some control going in these fights to set up and maybe even defensively save an ally while also looking for a kill opportunity. So I think, again, the key for Motivate Trust is less on the lifestealer, where he is still farming, but Masteros is the key one to set the momentum. Not even Gotcha Boy. Like, he's still hitting some decent farm timings on Ember, but the main damage dealer at this point in the game is going to be Masa. And if that Axe does come true uncontested for the OD in these next few minutes, you might have some trouble early on, especially without the DPPs being up.
Oh, BC, he tried. And he used that double damage route as bait, but the spear was just off the mark. Going back to your point, and I do agree, Masteros is going to have to kind of set the tempo of this game for Motivate, at least for now. Another thing, though, I feel like they needed to do is take down that mid tower, right? Like, you're against TA, you want to lock out that jungle, but hold that Dorka scare is going to get stunned up by this Rolling Thunder into a nice arrow from Boom Booey, and they should have enough damage to at least find one, but can they find the next? FBZ, he'll drop the arena down. Do they really want to keep this fight going? Gotcha Boy is going to be up. Remnant out is down. Maybe they can find Tims with a buyback. Is going to be out from Scam. They want to keep the fight going again, but the Moonlight Shadow is knocked all out of the mouth. Not from FBZ, but now the cavalry's here. They're going to keep going. Motivate. Can they get it done? Sanity's up. They've got FBZ, but now your Yopaj jumps in. Boom Booey. He'll leap out of there. In fact, now the TA in danger. Gacha, he's got the chains up, locking him down. Sentry Ward is already there to make sure they see him in Yopaj. Just about to tick over, and it looks like he will as they can't save him. Tino is a bit late to the party, but he's shown up. They will happily take his life away as more tips fly out for poor old Tino. Motivate Trust John, find a K net worth ahead, and it doesn't seem like it matters if you ban all Jackie's heroes. Jackie, he hasn't gotten involved one bit this game.
No, and that's a classic Motivate Trust playstyle, right? We're used to seeing these guys cause havoc elsewhere, leaving Jackie alone and just farming up. I think for Boom, the reason they're allowing this is maybe they're not that scared of lifestealer, right? They've got TA, they've got ways of handling the lifestealer towards the late game, but it's still a risky process because you're not winning 4v5s every single time. You're giving Motivate Trust this build, you're allowing them to hit their farm spikes in Masaros, you're allowing them to farm up in Gotcha Boy. Gotcha Boy is just rushing a BKB now in the Ember. So he's just looking for spell. He knows he doesn't need damage. He just needs to stand forward, keep the momentum up, get chains off, get vision out to enable Masaros to just stand and fight and hit those spikes with a BKB Axe timing coming through. Boom's gonna have a rough time. Again, their own BKBs aren't close enough yet. So all the damage and control coming through from Motivate Trust is going to be very hard to play against.
Oh, absolutely, but they are still defending that mid-field tower with their lives. Boom, just grouping up as 5, making sure it is not allowed to go down. There's no Yapash. He does have the Deso up. And with that, they want to try and make a move onto that position 1 of Motivate. They'll head right up top to Jackie, who's running right back into them. This could be a very awkward scenario for Motivate to try and respond to this, as Jackie is going to melt very, very fast. No infest targets and no chance. Boom will not even give him an opportunity to think about walking away. They just lock him down forever. Mid lane though, Tino again being chained up. Q gonna try and reach for the Rolling Thunder. Tino, he'll go into that tricks to the trade with the Blink Strike away. Q, he will at least find himself another target in the form of Scam, but Scam's still up back to FBZ. He's gonna find out Q, looking for that spear. Ankle, gonna get the unit down. Tibbs is gonna be into the follow-up. Get another kill, it seems like, as FBZ. He'll be the one to take it.
Dyer's
I
top
thought,
tower
boom, they
fallen.
might try to go for the Roshan, but instead they've got to address that bot tier 2 because Masteros has continued to push that tier 2 tower down no matter what's happening on the map.
Yeah. Master is focusing on the lane. The rest of this keep running. They will catch him though.
On these arrows just after the chains every single time. We'll find these supports very easily as now they can finally get that mid tier 1. No problem for Motivate. They'll get it done. And sure, you're still going to be concerned about this TA, but it does not seem like Yopaj is ready to really start joining his team yet. At the very least, until he has that BKB up so he can avoid the Astrals here from Masteros. But Motivate, they're confident. They'll move into that triangle. In fact, they'll go for the fight now. Astral is out. They've got one target. It'll be FBZ with Matt Barnes, who has no arena anyway, but they're going to try and blow him up in time. But meanwhile, Masteros put out. Yopaj, not quite there yet. They're going to keep trying, and in fact, one more strike will get it done. But now can he get away from Jackie? He'll try. Rolling Thunder's going to be right behind us now. Garcha moves in for the chains out. They'll land the stun, and that'll be enough.
Perfect.
A pretty damn good trade, if you ask me, for Motivate Trust, as they found a 2-for-1. And more importantly, John, they found that real position 1 for Boom.
They take down Yopaj once more. He's trying to come in, leverage his damage, but without that spell immunity, it's just really hard for him to do if he can't get them in that burst window of control. So the team is being bullied out. Motivate Trust are hitting that spike. Jack Noise is just ready to join in. It's simply with the Sonic and Armlet. He's working towards the Scotty next, not too far away. That's when the Life Stealer slows, and damage and stat are just a bit too hard to handle. You still have good burst on Boom. I feel like the pressure is starting to mount onto Tins and FBZ for that initial control now. You've got to get your line blink up and running. You have to get that Hex target on point, and you have to make a choice. Do you jump the Life Stealer and Hex him up? Do you try to take control of Gotcha Boy? You leave Masteros alone for just the smoke screen? Because those are all the 3 heroes you need to worry about, and every single one of them have a way of working against the other control if it's not the Hex. So I think for Boom, they have to really think twice about the angles, and they have to look for the opportunities to fight, and maybe just take it slow until the BKBs. I think you can still play with what area you have on the map. There are a lot of good wards from Motivate Trusto, watching that bot jungle towards the lane side. And in fact, every lane is kind of being launched.
You see, arena down, it's not going to catch Q out, and Jackie will have to be able to FBZ. He's not going to mess out. The Rolling Thunder barely making it in time. And we talk about this a lot with Boom. Even before the new roster, in fact, hold that thought, because we're about to have a bit of another gank on Garcha. He's got chains out onto the Lion. Tim's arrows going to be whiffed here by Boom Boy, but it won't matter if they continue to chase him down. With the vision out from their Mirana, they'll be able to find a secondary kill. But my point was, John, even before the roster changed to Boom Esports, the same thing was always said. If FBZ struggles in a game, generally the rest of the team will start to fall apart behind him. And it doesn't. That's exactly what's happening.
And he had a pretty great time in lane. He had a couple of good early arena uses, but after that, Motivate Trust has been very disciplined and kind of giving him very few angles for the arena. There's just no clump up from Motivate Trust. They stream in one by one. They're using their mobility with their 2 supports on Pango and Mirana quite well, playing behind Fearless, just letting Gotcha Boy go forward with the remnants. You're always kind of split up. There's never a big arena opportunity to cut off these heroes, and even if you do find, say, Jackie, if you don't start with Hex on Life Stealer, you're probably not going to spear him off in the arena. So it's just a hard target for FBZ to start on. And Boom is you're just not finding the opening. I think Motivate Trust have way too much control in the bot jungle. They've got good watch points onto his entrances in that area as well. So they can tell if someone's sneaking into farm in the area. They can go in for the punishment. Boom's wards are a lot more defensive towards top here. Like, they're watching your own triangle. They're watching the top small camp entry just to ensure that Yopaj has good area to clear out camps, clear out some stacks and ancients. And they are playing patient game quite well with Yopaj at least. You know, your TA's avoiding these fights. BKB's 2 parts away, the gold is starting to build up. Boom are looking to maybe go for a smoke play though. They are clumped up, but they aren't going to go for it. They're just going to go on a D-ward run for now. They do have the arena ready. They've got the blink up on Tim's. So that Hex initiation is there. They trust. They're the ones to go on a smoke instead.
Yeah, I think you might go after Roshan here for Motivate. The thing is, right, you're against the TA, you know they want that first Roshan, but if Motivate can get it, it's a massive loss for Boom Esports. Masteros, he'll get started. Of course there's DD rune available. Well, why not, Jonathan? Someone's Roshan. How else are they going to get it done?
They might be spotted though, and they get to watch a rotation from Boom, so they could fight back here.
And they've got to be very quick though. John Roshan is very, very close to dropping. He's going to go right now, but they don't have the chance. In fact, now Motivate, they'll turn around, Scam, stick behind, and just sacrifice himself to the rest of the team. As they chase him down, but use the Rolling Thunder and pretty much wasted. Scam, Higout is there. He's still outrunning Gacha, and they can't catch him. He's down again, but are they going to commit? Jack, he'll go. Matros with the Astral. This could be very dangerous without the rage up. But it won't matter because Boom, they do not want to fight back. Or maybe they do. Keeping done. That's not going to be enough. They'll let him.
They see Yopaj. They had a good ward watching that jungle area up top.
Dire's top tower
Might be able
is
to
under attack.
They may. Chains are there. Arrow again going to follow up. There's no BKB available. He just about had enough gold, but he did not have it out in time. Oh, Motivate. They are playing this game one perfectly. He's even towards the north. They almost found Tino. Masros unable to get the vision in time to cancel the TP.
Yeah, it's a tough game for Boom. Like, again, they're trying to find farm where they can. They got good read in Roshan. They just didn't make it in time. And they're being caught off guard before these key items come true. Now, Yopaj doesn't have long for that BKB. As you pointed out, Mike, he does have the goal. So next time around, it should be easier for Yopaj to stand and fight. I just worry that Motivate Trust has a bit too much on everyone else. Sure, the BKB is going to counteract Gotcha Boy's control and, to an extent, Masaros' control and damage as well. But Jackie is now at Scott. So even if your TA can try to kind of hold ground and fight away, Jackie has enough stats, slows, and heal reduction to
Radiant's middle tower
good,
is under
consistent
attack.
hits onto the TA, and that's just going to make it tough for Yopaj to get that core matchup going. And
You have to force this fight. The Boom Esports, they can't let this 2 mid go down. They've got the BKB up now on Yopaj's job. There's no buyback gold available, so this could be very dangerous. Need to jump in, try to get rid of that Aegis ASAP. Jackie's being controlled, but it's not dead yet. They'll go after Masteros instead, try to get rid of that OD. He will finally drop it. Jackie, he's going to go for the man fight. Onto FBZ, he goes for the spear away. He's going to be there with Gacha. He'll keep going onto the Mars. They just want something. Chains are not going to connect though. He'll keep trying, but it's not enough. Now the turnaround. Tim's is there. The Earth Spike will be enough to lock him down, and they want a bit more now. Jackie's very low. He does still have that Aegis, but you'd love to see it gone. The Enfist will be out. And Boom Booey, he should be fine to leap out if he needs to. So I say that there's no charges available right now. Tim's, oh, this could be great timing. He blinks in. Spike is going to connect. They found the Mirana. Is that going to be enough for Boom? They may hover around for a bit more as Jackie, he's right behind the tree line right now. Tino hasn't seen him. TP's back, Motivate, and it could be a very late counter initiation here from Motivate Trust. But no, it's too late, Boom. That they are already within safety range. And they won't want to fight, not without their cause.
it's an awkward fight after already winning out the earlier one. No reason to force it out. Motivate Trust, big thing that happened there was that Masaros was caught out in the arena. If they managed to maybe cut off Jackie, you don't really care. Because he has Aegis, he can be as far forward as he wants, he can rage out next life. But when Masaros gets controlled like that without any spell immunity on him, you lose out a lot of your damage right now. You can't Astral to save teammates, you can't Astral to set up for the stuns, you can't get off the damage with the Arcane Orb and drop the hammer of the Sandtees. So you lose a lot if Masaros is kind of just isolated like that. I think Motivate Trust has to be positioning themselves a bit better on that OD, maybe play a bit further back into the back line, allow Jack to act as bait, and Fearless to kind of jump in first and follow through afterwards. He's got the blink, he doesn't need to be too close, and they will go for a smoke play in Motivate Trust. Maybe they're feeling, alright, the BKB's be down to 8 seconds. Yopaj is pretty far away. He might be isolated, so find a good
Dire's
rotation
top
onto that
tower
TA. That
is
could be a
under
massive
attack.
kill.
They see him. He was showing on the map there, clearing out that creep wave, so maybe he'll still stick around, and it does seem like he does for one more wave. It's always that last wave that screws you
Dire's
over, but
top
Yopaj will go for a
tower
team.
is under
Can they make it in time? Q, he won't get the vision. Paj putting on the edge, but he will still make it out with his life intact. And Motivate, they've wasted quite a bit of time running up top. I suppose they can address the creep wave, but that's going to buy even more time now for Boom to try and catch up, keep up with the side of Motivate. They're not out of this game one quite yet.
They're hanging on their Boom. They're still kind of keeping pace with Yopaj. He is working towards his Orchid into what looked to be maybe a Bloodborne coming through. So a lot of damage, good amount of control to kind of help them heal. Let's say the Lifestealer, heal with the OD as well, while the BKB trying to up. Aegis does expire on Motivate Trust as well, so they're not able to do as much with it as they want to. They've still managed to keep Boom down to 1 outer tower, but they haven't really won any big team fights with the Aegis, and I think that's what's setting Motivate Trust back a bit. They are maybe about to play a bit more patiently here. I think you really want to wait for Master versus BKE. If you can enable your OD to just stand back, you know, wait for some initial spell uses, wait for the initial BKB pops to wear off, you can just jump back in on the OD, pop your own BKB, and turn things around. And that feels like the playstyle Motivate Trust will have to take, because Boom are just happy to ignore Jack Boys. Like, they know the Lifestealer, they can just run away. They have good range, they have good mobility on all the Boom heroes. Still, Jackie finds another DD and will smoke up around it.
Yes, he
Dire's
does, John. He's also got a Paladin Sword now. So just in case he needs some more healing, John. Just needed that Paladin Sword to come out. Very nice for Jackie. They start to move down towards the bottom side of the map. Boom Esports
Radiant's
should know
courier
something is
has
a
been
little bit
killed.
awry here as everybody's missing off the map. Jackie not gonna have his smoke broken
Dire's
on Tino,
bottom
and
tower
in fact
is under
Boom have made a
attack.
good read as everyone's already TP back towards the fountain apart from FBZ. He'll be there to break the smoke. Does have the spider legs off. They found him. They know he'll be KP up and just TP away,
Dire's
and they don't
bottom
have
tower
anything
is
like a
under attack.
basher to be able to go through it. So more wasted time for Motivate. Boom Esports playing the cat and mouse game very well, and just buying more and more time to be able to keep up and catch up to Motivate Trust. That's about all they need to do right now. Just play the long game.
They've got great scaling on hand with TA. Even the Ricky has some different avenues of utility down the line. Damage will ramp up once you get enough farm as well. So I don't think you're too pressured here on Boom to take it too fast. I think Motivate Trust might be under a little bit more of time, but they also scale. I don't think slow game hurts either side. It's just that Motivate Trust is missing out on that map efficiency by grouping up a little bit more, and that is slowing down their farm. I say that, but Boom hasn't really changed the net worth deficit. It's still at 7k for Motivate Trust. They've still got the lead. It's been steady. So Motivate Trust isn't really falling behind and working the map as well. Still, Boom, they're going for their own smoke play now this time around as well. Maybe they find the angle here.
They've got the Orchid up in Yopaj. That could help in just kind of making sure Jackie can't rage up, but he's got the double damage rune going right now, so this could be a very awkward time. Just gonna wait for that right moment. Arrow, give a bit of vision. They've seen the items in Yopaj, and it doesn't seem like Motivate to go too much further. It's one of those games, it's just so close that one bad team fight is going to turn this whole game on its head here for Motivate Trust. Boom Esports, they know that very well. But Motivate, they won't risk it. Roshan, it's going to be up at minute 45 anyway, so that might be the next big team fight we see between these two teams. Or maybe not, because they've got a Moonlight pop now. Turn right back around for Motivate Trust, back into that triangle. Sentry not really around here for the side of Boom, so they are kind of going without vision. Do you see your punch? Fifth though with FBZ, he'll get the spear back with the Astral. He's going to see a nice arena around Jackie right onto Yopaj with the disarm. But Yopaj can't help out right now. He'll try to BKB away, and he's going to make it in time. It looks like a TP. It's taking so long. He is finally out of there as Tins. He's going to buy back on that line and try to rejoin this team fight, but they found Tino. BKB pops of his own to try and avoid that arrow. Onto the Marana they go. They found Boom Boy, but now scammed. He's in big trouble. Jackie's got him down. Yopaj is reinitiated in this team fight. He's got down Q, and Jackie can't really deal with him on his own, so he will back off his Gets a sleeping dart out. It's a 3v5 scenario as the Astral's going to be there. The Duke out the spear from FBZ, but now the smoke is out. As well as they're on Tino. Who do they want? They go on Garcha. They'll miss out on Jack as he does raise TP away, but Yopaj, he's chasing them down. He does pump across, and now he finds another. They've got Garcha boy. Oh, this is really unfortunate timing for Motivation. 15 seconds away from Roshan respawn.
That is big for Boom. They can take control of Roche. They've got the trap set up. The respawns aren't too far off from Motivate Trust, but it's going to be a tough angle for them to find now. They lose their vision in the triangle. There's enough time for Boom to maybe even go for a tower on the tier 2 here, and that does finish up Yopaj's Blood Tour now. So even more damage output for him. All the hits are going to be critting for a little bit once they do take these engagements. And yeah, Roshan is set to fall. Roche number 2 with the Ag Shard. A lot of good shards to give out. I'd say, you know, you might actually want Yopaj shard. Silence again makes it so hard for Masaros to do anything, and we've seen the Silence just destroy that OD.
Kim's gonna find Bowie, and meanwhile Yopaj, he does find Q, but the Rolling Thunder is eventually gonna come out. They want to try and delay this Roshan from happening as Tino, he's gonna jump into the north. They'll try to head down the Mirana with the Roshan. Who are they going after? They found FBZ on that Mars. Sanity's dropped, they'll get him. That'll be a good start. They go for a bit more. He's been spotted out, or rather fire the Grimstroke. In the meantime, though, they've got Tino with the bash rock. Jackie, they might be able to get the control, but Tino, he'll get a sleeping dart and just try to TP away with the BKB up. He'll make it. So 2 heroes down. FBZ does have buyback. He may need to commit it. Try and contest this Roshan.
And that's a great fight for Trust. Maybe it looked a bit awkward at angles, and the jump out from Jackie wasn't the best time, but they still managed to find the key target that sets up these fights for them and force the buyback. They can't team up for Roche. They're gonna have to play it a bit safe. They don't have Sentis on their side as well, so their big UE damage is sort of taken out. But you are hitting hard with Jack, boys. They can hold their position here. The trap is still keeping vision of them. They don't have a sentry to spot that out. So Boom always has a little bit of info as to where Motivate Trust is looking to play, and that means he can kind of go for a smoke and find a right angle here. I
mean, they've committed the buyback on FB. Get something in return for their trouble. Boom Bowie, of course, on the Mirana. He just waited at his respawn as they'll 5-man smoke now. It's being drawn out towards the Radiant Triangle, but Motivate, they might just go right back into that Roshan. Trap's taken out by Boom Bowie, getting rid of that vision. Boom Esports, wrap around back into the high ground of that dire triangle. Excuse me, rather dire jungle. Tina still hovering around looking for a target. Boom Bowie in the Roshan pit. He'll leave Garcha, look for a chains out, but won't find that either. He'll get back onto the Roshan, but Tino, he's in. He's popped his BKB. He's committed all the way, but the rest of the team's not there. Who are they really aiming? This BKB's been wasted for Yopaj. He's going to jump in after Masaros, right after that OD. They might have it, but the Astral's there in time, and now Jackie, he's onto the TX too early. Yopaj's going to drop, and they may have just lost Roshan. Oh, they may have lost Roshan.
Absolutely perfect.
Yopaj does not have buyback gold. He is 230 gold short. What do you do now, John?
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
You could try to force it. It's such a massive risk. It's only really FBZ and maybe Tino that can make a good play. They're just going to call losses. Give away to Roche. That is Aegis and Shard coming out. Gotcha Boy looking to take that Shard. He's got the Remnants doing a little bit more damage as well, and just dropping Remnants if they find kills. More movement out for the Ember. 2 lives on Jackie, that's going to be a massive issue. And this Monsters is looking through these fights, so they have BKB soon.
And I think, well, they do get Boom Bowie on the Ember, so Aegis or not, they will still find a great team fight in that mid lane here at Boom Esports. Motivate, they're the ones that are kind of pressuring to trying to make something happen with this Aegis up. But now it does seem like they want to wait out the Abyssal Blade on Jackie. Perhaps after that, you're trying to make a play.
Definitely. And that should line up with that BKB timing on Masaros. And Motivate Trust have to be a bit careful when they split up. Boom don't have long cooldown spells. Maybe Finger's their longest one right now, but even then, once you hit level 18, it's not that long. And they can kind of keep gunning, drop the arena, get a sleeping guard to set up, get the spear out, get the finger, get the burst damage going, and just clean up when Motivate Trust aren't grouped up. Side of Motivate Trust, they still have a lot of time in that Aegis. Again, fresh BKB on Masaros. I think next is really just Fearless or Gotcha Boys Ags next. Once you've got that, the Ember's going to be a little bit better to play on front line. It's going to be a lot easier for him to jump back, save himself, set up, and isolate certain targets as well. But Boom's doing the right thing, pressuring the top lane, drop 2 really good boards, watching an entrance of the top jungle. So if Motivate Trust wants to sneak around for a defense of the tier 2, there's potential for Boom to cut them off there.
There is. Top lane though, FBZ just so patient, waiting for Boom Boy. Now he does move in, but the spear is off the mark. Boom Boy will be very happy with that as mid lane now. Motivate Trust, they start to apply pressure back in with the creep wave. Is Jackie, he'll run up to the triangle. Melt Strike will be there from your pass. Just a bit of a warning shot. Up and right home, up, Jackie will clearly ignore it. Right back into that triangle.
Dire's top
Start working
tower is under
on that
attack.
Satanic. I believe he does have the AC on the way. Tina almost losing his courier there as well to Jackie, but still this game is very, very tense, John. Even with the Aegis up on Motivate, they're still not comfortable. They're respecting Boom Esports and wait for that perfect opportunity.
Yeah. And
Lane, Motivate Trust. Just keep hanging around. Just give themselves a nice little power rune, and again, just try and control that
Dire's
triangle
bottom
area.
tower is under attack.
Jackie's very confident in that
Dire's
mid lane to
structures
just
are
farm the creep
fortified.
wave as far as he wants to.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
They'll go after that top tier 2
Radiant's
tower. I
top
mean,
tower
there's
is
not really
under
much
attack.
to stop them. Motivate, they'll move in, creep wave on the
Dire's
way.
bottom
Boom
tower
Esports, they'll
has
do the
fallen.
exact opposite and go after that bottom
Radiant's
tier
top
1.
tower is under
They
attack.
might still have enough time to try and go after that tier 2 tower, but at least for now they'll leave it.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Motivate, do they get a high ground?
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And try tier 3 tower under siege. Boom Esports, they've got to try and react. He's going to jump in with the stun out, and FBZ now with the spear, but the Astral again going to buy time for Jackie. Just wait out that stun as they move back in onto FBZ, but it's the tier 3 tower is what they really want. Be able to finish it quite yet. Get a pretty big patience game from Mode. Still have about a minute with that Aegis up.
Radiant are scanning.
Go back in. At least get that tier 3 tower down.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
That might be enough for Motivate Trust. Boom. They won't move down to the low ground. In fear of retaliation and Motivate, they are done. Tier 3 will be enough for them for now. It's like they won't really have enough time on their Aegis anyway to really keep going for that Rax at top lane. So it may just be a matter of waiting for the next Roshan attempt. Unless they are going to go right now, and it looks like Jackie might try to force a fight. Yopaj, he's still there. FBZ's ready to set up. Yopaj, he does get chained up. No flinching yet though from FBZ. He's just waiting it out. Boom, they just stand their ground. And, well, now the Aegis is officially gone. This should be kind of the cue for Motivate to leave this top lane. Well, should at very least. There is a double damage rune down at the bot root spot, so you've always got that going for you if you wanted to take it. Though Roshan is still 2.5 minutes away, so that might make it a little bit challenging. See if they do end up wanting it. Because we are going to have a pause out, and it does seem like John's temporarily disappeared on me, which is going to make it a lot of fun. So maybe he's too much of a big shot to hang out with me and cast anymore. I'm not sure, John. He might have just gotten annoyed and just left mid-sentence for me. They do eventually unpause, and they do ping out the DD room. So they are aware of it being there for Motivate. Or at least Boom Esports are, because they're drawing a line and running right to it. And it could be the game changer. DD rune, 5-man smoke up, no Aegis available on Motivate Trust could make all the pieces of the puzzle come together here.
Double damage.
She'll be the one to take it and does activate it. So they want to try and go right here, right now, but motivate. They're 5-man smoked up. They're going to try and make it happen. But FBZ, he'll have his smoke broken. Jackie will run in. Arrow, it's going to connect onto the Mars. He needs help right now. He's still going down. Bashes out. FBZ, he'll get the BKB off an arena in time. It's not going to be enough. Soulmine is there. Tino, he's going to try, but he can't get the job done by himself. And the Rolling Thunder. Q just holding everybody else back as yet. He's popped the BKB, but he needs to blink out. He cannot take this team fight. Bash is there, however. Jackie, he'll get the Abyssal Blade in time. He cancels the TP Yatage. So he gets Archer Boy. It's something for the side of Boom, but it's not enough. 2 core heroes down without buyback. And Motivate, they should well and truly be able to go after Arax now. No, they may even have time for 2. How good of a job Boom can do to try and delay this is Tino. He's going to jump in with the nullifier out for Masteros. He's got the BKB there. Stun is out, however. Onto that last stealer, but Jackie does not mind. He wants that tier 3 tower. Surely you've got to get it here. And obviously they don't really know that there's no buybacks available on FBZ or Yopaj. They're going to try again to delay this as Tim's now has been caught out by Jax. That's another gone. Now a 4v2 scenario here for Boom Esports to try and defend this mid-rats.
Radiant's middle barracks are under attack.
13k net worth deficit to make matters worse here.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
I suppose the sleeping darts are buying quite a bit of time, but not quite enough for Jackie to not try for another Rax, I think. Head up top with there's no tier 3 tower, just directly towards the Rax. Sleeping darts are doing some good work. The smoke screen hanging in swell is going to be there, but they have the astral tips. He's going to buy back. Soulmine is going to lock a couple down, but are they going to be ready to jump in? They'll try and master off on that OD with the finger around. They'll shoot out enough damage, but now the Rolling Thunder is there by Q to hold the rest back. It seems like Motivate are on the retreat now. Jepage, he's about to respawn up in 3 seconds, and he will be up, but it's too late. Everyone else from Motivate Trust has left the building, and Boom Esports, I suppose on the positive end of things, they only lose 1 lane of barracks. And you would have assumed it would have been way worse than that, but that's about all that happens here for Boom.
Never refuse.
But they are now quite a bit behind, just about 15k net worth. Still not out of this game yet, but they've got to find a good team fight to try and kind of return the favor here against Motivate Trust. They're not going to find a target though.
Is under attack.
Having a look around that triangle, but nobody's going to be there to gank up. Instead, they could try and work into that mid-tier 2 tower. And they will. Yopaj will go after it by himself.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
Motivate them, just not feel comfortable with the defend. They've got some buybacks. They should be okay, but you'd rather not get into a situation where you have to use buybacks. Now everyone's spawned up here for Motivate. Do they want to go for another smoke? Roshan is up, and that's a very important objective to go for right now for either side, as the pings are coming out and they do smoke up as 4. In fact, it's the Moonlight Shadow they use. Are going to make it very hard though to go into that Roshan if Motivate. They don't have any sentries down, so they don't see it right now. No gem either, still jumping. They found Boom Booey on that Mirana. A nice start for Boom Esports. But they might try to force this Roshan play. You can at least try to get the buyback out from Boom Booey to try and contest this Roshan. It is knocked down very fast. The side lanes just keep bouncing around. They touch it. Key Spirits enough. This time he got the rage off just in the nick of time. As soon as they go on, Soulmine in a hold down couple. Tino will go into the tricks. Meanwhile, Arrow is going to fly in. FBZ tanks it with the BKB out. Now Masteros, he's been caught out in the arena. That'll be 1 down. Buybacks to fly out. They need this Roshan. Sleeping Dart is there. They've got the line stealer with the smoke screen out. They hold him down the Garcher. He'll be there to try and save. In the meantime, Yopaj found Q out. Another buyback forced here by Boom Esports as they chase down Yopaj with a blink away. This team is just so hard to catch. He's not giving the opening. Gets a haste rune and just runs away, but Motivate Trust, they're going to start the Roshan again. They've committed the buybacks, so they've got to commit to the Roshan. But FBZ looking for that spear target. Yopashi's in with the Bloodthorn out onto Q, but it's not going to be enough. So Jackie back in onto the Roshan now. They've even got the X coming out for Skem. That Dark Portrait. Azeroth, he just fought back. He can't afford to die right now, but Bastroth's going to drop. He can't survive. Boom, Bowie now will be the next target of the Soul Bomb. It's out for Boom Esports. They've got the Aegis up your path. He flicks right in. He's got everything off the side of Motivate Trust. Oh, Boom Esports, they're doing it all over again. Just making the comeback happen.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
And it does seem like they might have the opportunity now to try and go high ground. There's 2 heroes down without buybacks. And with an Aegis up on your page, there's just no reason not to.
Dire's top tower is under
So they're going to try. It's going to be a very tier 3 tower, but oh, they're going to go for tier 4s. They know no buybacks available on 2 cores, means they can at least try for these tier 4s. It's a massive comeback and Boom can make it work. Motivate, they're the ones under pressure now to try and make sure that Boom just can't take their aim for free. Arrow's going to fly through, but it will miss. Your part, he has the swift link up now. He'll just keep going. So Jackie is forced to try and force him. He will do so, but your part just ignores, goes back in after the tier 4 tower. But now Tibbs has been caught out on the line, but FBZ, he's in with the arena. Jackie with the beacon, he'll survive for now. He's going to have to v5 them though. He does get one, but Jackie now's being chased down by Tino. They just go after the tier 4s again. No, they'll try after Q. Back in on Jackie. Sleeping Star will hold him down. They need to punch there with the damage output though. Nullifier is there. FBZ, he'll jump it in. Jackie, he's still alive. Turning right back around now with the fashions at FBZ. He'll just hold off the shield. He's onto the end. He does not give a crap about Jackie. He'll just keep going after the win. They call it. They call the GG. Boom Esports. They've done it once again. They did it a month ago in the grand finals of the Middle Masters, and now they've done it all over again. Mineski Masters into the SCA DPC. Motivate Trust, they just can't catch a break. Not for game 1 at the very least of this best of 3 series. What a game it was. We'll see how Motivate tries to turn this
5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
We banned Tino, and now the real conversation is, does it matter?
I think they're questioning whether it's ban
Dire
Pango or
team
OD. I
ban.
think, or Wraith King. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I was wrong completely.
Because they tried to do so, now they have to try it with the Wraith King. You do one of each.
Yeah. Interesting though. I mean, Boom have first pick, so they get their choice of what they want. But I don't know if they want to put FBZ back on Mars again,
10
or if they want
seconds
to take
remaining.
Pango. I don't think I would want to though,
Radiant
just
team
because
pick.
there's so many counters in the pool that they can just take on Motivate.
They were taking so much
Dire
time on that
team
second
pick.
ban, I was getting real worried. I was like,
Devourer.
please do not throw your game by not banning Weave.
So annoying.
So they're going to take OD for themselves. I think OD was a clear problem in game one. And I think in many ways, Boom have to look at game
10
one as
seconds
a
remaining.
loss of sorts. Like, you have to adjust your draft.
Yep.
You can't be like, oh, we were happy with
5
that. So
seconds
they do make
remaining.
an adjustment in taking the OD away from Motivate Trust. And now
Dire
we're going to
team
see
pick.
Motivate Trust, how they deal with that. I already like this answer.
So the what they realized as well is that the OD made Mars's life really difficult as well in that last game as they go into the mid game. And if Mars doesn't have a great lane, then all of a sudden you have no impact. And that's why this also block picks that potential Mars
10
to a degree.
seconds remaining.
It was a double-edged sword. Mars can cancel the meat bar, but
5 seconds
and also
remaining.
put in the arena, which is really hard for OD to deal with.
True.
But OD gave other heroes from arena fear. So yeah, in general. deal with.
Radiant team pick.
Whoa, that's new. Viper. What?
Why?
They're like fearless. If you lose your lane now,
Most likely
Why?
an off-lane Viper, no?
think so?
Potentially.
I don't know.
Do you think they would first?
I hope they have that option.
I hope it's a 5
10
Viper.
seconds remaining.
Okay. Like that to me is the best
Oh.
sell here.
Yeah.
Because his
5
matchups tend to be pretty
seconds
good against
remaining.
most things. Against OD, I can imagine him having a pretty decent matchup, especially early. His poison attack is much better than the orb.
Viper
Radiant
is a
team
very
ban.
abusable hero on Toro
Enchantress.
early because he has no way to defend himself in a side lane. That's like they nerfed his ability to play off lane because originally his W, the
Toxin.
what's it called? Nether, yeah, it could clear an entire creep wave with at level 1, but they nerfed the damage values of it. Now
10
it doesn't, so now it's much
seconds
harder for him
remaining.
to shove out waves.
Yes.
Dire
yeah, if
team
you-
ban.
Leave him alone, or you pick heroes that are very good in lane against it, like strong in general, like Ench. It's hard for him to deal with it.
I love the Ench pick though because you can put 5 or 4. If it's 4, 5 Viper hates Ench.
Radiant
If it's
team ban.
5 off-lane Vipers you mentioned gets destroyed by Ench. So there's no good. You gotta put it mid now, I suppose, but that's not good either.
He's so exploitable. I honestly, I don't like early Viper picks.
Me neither.
I hope Boom, like they did a really good job
10
picking
seconds
the
remaining.
last game. I think they should ban.
Dire team ban.
But boom. All right, yeah, because
Yeah,
that way
Puck
Fearless
and
could get-
TA, I think, are like two of the better bands. OD, or when you have OD, rather, because they're some of the best heroes. Puck has this like really nice mobility, doesn't care about the meteor
10
hammer
seconds
combo,
remaining.
and can stop the meteor hammer potentially with coil. And
5
TA
seconds
also.
remaining. Radiant team ban.
Oh, do you know what hero is actually really good against Viper? Wind Ranger.
Mid lane, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
Wind Ranger. Yopaj is a very good Wind Ranger player. I think it's good against both of the heroes on Motivate Trust right now.
10
Obviously, Spirit
seconds
Breaker always
remaining.
annoying to deal with, but
You
I
can
would-
shackle shot him.
I would be pretty
5
hyped to
seconds
see it, to be honest.
remaining.
Okay. In that regard, you probably need if you were to go Wind Ranger, you must have a clockwork type 4 position. Like you need a 4 that will initiate team fights for you. You could have like OD and Wind Ranger. Neither one has they can start fights, but kind of from a distance. You want to clean initiate sometimes. So.
Agree. Yeah.
I'm a tank with the enchanter, so she's just
Dire
not
team
food.
ban.
Initiate.
She'll be food anyway, because of Viper.
Well,
never
that's true.
talks in.
Actually, you're totally right. Yep.
Yeah. I feel it is hard because I think Yopaj looks really good on these playmaking heroes like Kunkka, Ember, Puck. Ember's gone, Puck's gone. Kunkka, if you pick it, then maybe you potentially end up facing this Viper mid,
10
which
seconds
is
remaining.
difficult. So
5 seconds remaining.
I was just thinking along the lines of if you have Wind Ranger, it's something he's comfortable on. It means that you don't mind the Viper being there. It's just like a generically okay hero mid that Yopaj should be able to make work. But like Cap said, you got to fill the holes.
Dire team pick.
They'll take out Kunkka themselves.
Why the conquer?
The potential of. Oh, actually, I'm not sure. I'm
Radiant
thinking of
team pick.
Beastmaster, but you don't pick that.
I think it's got X versus Spirit Breaker. I think it also works well with OD. You always have. It's nice to be able to have all of your heroes combo off of in.
10
Pick up a
seconds
Mars
remaining.
afterward. So this means Spiritbreaker is support.
5
mid.
seconds
And
remaining.
Viper is either 5 or 2.
Their picking order very often is weird because I feel like there's all these flexes and then they go and say revealed, and then all of a sudden it doesn't feel that great.
Yeah, what could they have picked that wouldn't reveal anything? Their carry.
Carry early. Could have
Yeah.
picked
I feel like if we're talking
Or
about
no,
Viper
supports.
being played as a 5, you have to pick your offlaner here. Because if you pick a 5, then you're basically saying, yeah, Viper's definitely core.
Right.
So I think they're keeping that flex. It's
What
like
if-
choosing
but-
what they prefer.
If you pick the 4, I guess maybe you're still concerned Spiritbreaker could be a 4 here, depending.
I guess Spirit Breaker goes in like 4 different roles.
Or Mars
I'm-
struggles against Ancient.
I would like to see Boom pick some team fight up. They're lacking it very severely right now, especially if OD goes in the offlane. That's usually where team
Radiant
fight is
team
most
pick.
built.
Points away.
Good, like Pango, good against Mars. If it's an FBZ Pango, then that's one of his good heroes.
You flex the OD mid to say it's a Viper matchup. Is that a bad matchup?
I personally haven't seen it played. I don't think Viper's been played very much.
10 seconds remaining.
I honestly don't.
Okay, well, fair enough.
5
I'm
seconds
guessing it's not the
remaining.
greatest in early levels because the Astral doesn't last for very long. Viper is... You can run most heroes out of lane.
Yeah, he's a low mana pool hero, right? So after 6 and stuff, you actually threaten him a fair amount. You have orb, pure damage.
I'm not
Is it-
sure how impactful the magic resist you get from the skin is on this Viper.
Like it's an OD.
Yeah.
Because like, what's more impactful, the pure damage of the orb or the astral?
Dire team pick.
So they've fulfilled their team fight and stuff now.
They doubled down on that pretty
Yeah.
hard.
They have some really nice tower push as well with the Ench creeps, the Meteor Hammer OD, Death Prophet ult. Looks like they can end the game pretty fast if they want to.
This feels like a
10
hard Spirit
seconds
Breaker.
remaining.
A good job addressing.
I think this is what we
5
see.
seconds
Hopefully
remaining.
they carry what we said last time before that gets. Or are you less concerned because of the bans?
Well, Boom have left a lot more carries in the pool this game. That's
So
for
do
sure.
you can you last pick it then?
If
Is it
they
that-
want, they can still hide whether they want. I don't know if you want to leave your support for last if they want to put Viper on core.
I personally would like to see carry, just because we already know what the lane matchup will be. Like, between OD, Pango, and Death Prophet, one of these heroes will be your
You're offlaner.
offlane hero. So, and I think right now, I know that we want to see FBZ Pango, but I think it's Pango 4 position.
Radiant
Either Death
team
Prophet
ban.
OD3,
Luna.
and that does, like, they're similar-ish. They're ranged offliners.
Safe.
Magic Burst is good against these heroes, and Lucent Beam is good
10
against OD.
seconds remaining.
Right,
Oh, it's
long
true.
range mini.
It does.
5
It does
seconds
strike
remaining.
to me though that both teams are doing similar-ish strats, like a mid-game
Dire
timing.
team ban.
I don't see any late game on either team right now. Luna obviously can scale well, but she loses out to some of the bigger, badder carries that
Radiant
could maybe
team
pick up
ban.
if they want to try and scale into her
Right.
and go past her timing.
You think that's the plan for Boom?
I'm not sure. The DP and it's more to me that they want to go faster.
Okay.
But it's kind of just on their next pick. Like they haven't really revealed their overall like strategy yet.
10 seconds
What Motivate
remaining.
Trust have with Luna.
Smart ban. A Lifestealer. I think this
5
would actually
seconds
been a
remaining.
really legit Lifestealer. Because I've always been a fan of
Dire
Lifestealer
team
Death
ban.
Prophet since when the Infest change came in and you could give HP to somebody, right? It's effectively a save. And so is OD. So they would have been able to kind of like double down on that aspect. Innate magic immunity is pretty good against Luna. The only problem
Radiant
for
team
Lifestealer in this
pick.
game, I think Spirit Breaker has been addressed pretty well by OD, Death Prophet, and even I mean, Enchantress doesn't care about Spirit Breaker.
Phantom Lancer ban. And you were talking about how he's one of the nicer hard carries. Can outskill the
10
Luna. Doesn't fit the
seconds
tempo that
remaining.
people thought was going to happen, but it's not too bad in that sense.
5 seconds remaining.
You still have the option of the hardest carries of TB and Dusa.
Yeah, TB versus Luna is still an option.
Aim versus Mars
Dire
is kind of
team
okay.
pick.
Raise.
I like that much more. I felt like TB might have been a little bit too greedy. This Razor pickup is still an anti-Luna hero, but less chance that you're going to lose your lane. At best, Mars just deals with you by spearing, but won't
10
actually.
seconds remaining.
Yeah, if you go passive field build, you're fine. You don't have to.
5
They're not.
seconds
They're not going to try and
remaining.
outcarry Luna. They're just going to try and destroy them. It looks like to me.
Yeah, fight head on, right?
Yeah, they can do Roshan really easily as well with Ench tanking, OD Orb, DPL if they want to commit that. That gives them that. Motivate Trust kind of right now lack a way to do Rosh, I would say.
Wonder how Viper does as a core versus. Because you could do, if you're really
As, like,
tricky,
offlane
right? You could do
Viper.
3 Viper, 4 Spirit Breaker, 5 Mars.
I would presume in the longer lane it's tougher for Viper to disengage. Like if
Maybe,
it's in the
but-
middle lane.
He's got Spirit Breaker to be able to like charge in, so I think if Razor ever ran in,
Right.
But I honestly don't. Again, both of those heroes used to be mids, and now they're side lane. So we're looking at either our mid. I hope it's there. I hope it's.
Then the Viper has to be a. Well, I guess you could put Mars 5 as well, actually.
Mars 5,
I
Viper
don't
5.
think they should.
And, you know, Mars 5 is an answer to OD, is not.
Choose your
Oh,
hero.
Io.
This is pretty big, actually.
That's actually the only support that I would be acceptable of.
It's
like,
wild that it actually got to this point.
Yeah, Io Luna. Jeez, that's
Yep.
still available.
I feel like both these teams are gonna like reach 25 minutes and everything is just going to explode.
Yeah.
True SCA fashion.
Yeah, lots of hard farming from Jackie with Io, and then reach an IM timing, BKB, and hopefully you just find a way to disengage from Tino in fights when he tries to link you up, and it should be smooth sailing for them. I do like Boom's lineup much in general. I just think they're more well-rounded, and I think the timing is easier.
I actually like MTG's lineup a little bit. I think it's easier to play Io Luna. They just literally just farm, and the entire game is on Boom to try and take objectives and pressure the map and take that triangle away from them.
I love when my panel's divided because no matter what, we're right. So what's going to happen? Will Boom Esports manage to take this 2-0, or will MTG recover from a really hard game 1 and bring this to a third game of the series? We don't know. But what we do know is that it's going to be an enjoyable game nonetheless, as these teams always bring the highest caliber of Dota. That's why we need the highest caliber of casting, and that's why we got MLP Delta, and John X Fire.
Thank you very much, Mr. Avo Plus. It is MLP Dota and the return, John X Fire. John, I hope you enjoyed your short break mid-game there, sir. How you doing?
Doing great, you know, Southeast Asian internet, what can you do? But in time to see the continuation of the series. It's a great series, right? Motivate Trust had a really good start earlier on in the first game, just kind of fell apart towards the late game. This time around, very different drafts, Mike. We're seeing the Jackie Luna, which you and I kind of commented on. We haven't seen in a while. The last time we saw it, I don't think it did too well. So Motivate Trust can kind of make that work. They've got the combination with EIO. Who knows what could happen? FBZ is on that OD, and last time he had it, they did win, but you know, it's maybe not something you're too comfy with. So we've got to see if that's kind of fixed up here for Boom.
It did look very rocky last time around, but we do have game number 2 underway, so we'll head into that right now and see what the hell is going to happen between these two teams. I think Motivate Trust, I mean, you looked at their body language in the cameras during that panel segment where the draft was going on, John, as thank you again, Pythian, for this lovely view that we're looking at, the skybox. Thanks,
Beautiful.
Pythian Lagoon. But with that, John, back to my point. That's a very nice sticker. Back to my point. They looked very defeated, John, during that drafting stage. I mean, you look at the cameras, you look at their body language, you look at their faces. No one on Motivate looked very happy.
Yeah, I mean, it just felt like they had the scaling. It felt like they had the draft. It felt like, you know, towards the mid-game, they were just finding everything they needed. They had a good network lead. They were keeping Yopaj in check. And then just a couple of misplays, a couple of bad decisions, it fell apart. Boom is just the kind of team where you can't afford to make those mistakes, right? Like every single time we've seen Boom, and even Motivate Trust in the same spot, but Boom more recently, more consistently, just find those openings and play around it. So we'll see. I mean, mental game is a big part of Dota, and I think Boom and Motivate Trust understand that. So we've got to see if they can bounce back mentally here in Motivate Trust, maybe look to force a game 3 out. Boom, they have a draft that comes online so quick. Like, the scaling is there for Motivate Trust with IU Luna, but we can't discount the refresh timing for Tino, the Ags timing on the Razor. He's mainly their win condition, as Yopaj is on more of a tempo setter on that DP, which we also talked about, and the panel pointed out as well. So I'm keen to see if Tino can have that runaway start and hit those item spikes to kind of carry through for the team here on Boom's end.
That's the thing, a couple times with Tino's race, I do tend to doubt the scalability of the hero, but when he does play it, he always manages to pull through during the late game, at least on this Razor. We are going to have a look at mid lane first. You've got Gacha Boy there against Yopaj, and again, they talked about shutting down Yopaj throughout this series. I suppose if there's one thing you can do, is run a hero like Viper, who's just guaranteed to win you this mid lane.
Yeah, you can bully out Yopaj. Early levels are a bit tough, though. Like, Viper is not the tankiest here, actually. Only 1 armor, so we saw a while ago, Yopaj with the right clicks was winning the trade because he's got better range, and Gacha Boy's got a kind of gap close to get the poison attack off, which means Yopaj can stand back, Crypt Swarm, bully out the Viper a bit. It's going to be a bit slower for Gacha Boy with those initial levels because of that, and I think even if you're under threat from the Viper, you've always got the Spirit Siphon if you want to run down and threaten. So Yopaj still has some sustain to play with as well. I don't think the Viper is going to completely dominate Yopaj here. We're seeing that in the CS, we're seeing that in lane. It's very even overall here.
Absolutely. Of course, another even lane on top lane. You've got Jackie against FBZ, and they'll both be supported by Q and Tims. And say FBZ, he's going to try and get aggressive in this laning stage. Does already have the Arcane Orbs going for himself, so Jackie does need to be careful. But overall, I think the Luna should be just fine throughout this lane.
Yeah, you can play it safe here, stand back, just keep farming up. You can try to be aggressive, like say, you know, playing with the Lucent Theme, playing with a charge, and looking for some greater bashes coming through. But you have to respect the saves, the sustainability of Boom with a Pangolier and the OD. They've got the Astral to save in case a charge comes out. They've got, you know, great sustain and great durability with the shield crash on Tims. And they've got pretty decent damage out of this wall once they hit level 3. So I think for Motivate Frost, best play is probably to just take it slow, see if you can find angles for Q, perhaps onto the mid with some charges. I think you'd want to see maybe some early emphasis on keeping Yopaj down to prevent that early EXO, prevent the towers from melting in, kind of securing Gacha Boy a better start here.
Of course, the last lane, we kind of already briefly went over this, but you've got Boom Booey and Masros against Skem and Tino. We did talk about Tino on this Razor, obviously a very good Razor player here. It's Masros on that Mars. I mean, the problem is with static linking a Mars, he can always just kind of spear you away, so unless you time it well, it can be kind of hard to actually make full use of this Razor, as we are going to have a bit of a charge up at top lane. They are going to try and go onto Tim's now, but the Shieldcraft Swashbuckle is going to be there. That'll be more than enough to allow him to get up and salve up. Q, he does have a salve of his own, but he will hold on to it at least for now.
Yeah. And I like that Motivate Trust are trying to find the angles, but it goes back to what you said. It's just hard to burst down Tims. If you don't get any lucky bashes following up from your charge, you're likely not going to have enough to kill off the Pango. So it's a bit reliant on luck. FBZ doesn't care too much about the movement. He's still holding lane, still finding farm, and as long as your OD will hit that meteor hammer timing, you don't really care if Tims is going to have a bit of a rougher start here. You just want to hit that initial farm for FBZ, and then you start looking for the aggression.
Paj, he drops very low mid lane against Garcha. Those poison attacks, they really start to hurt at level 2, so Garcha's taking full advantage, and you kind of went over this laning phase. Your Paj, he's going to try and man fight this one out with the Spirit Siphon. They're very fire up, but Garcha, he's not going to make it. Your Paj, an absolute giga chat, getting it done. That takes balls, John, to walk up to the Viper like that with that much low HP. In the meantime, top lane, they are going to try and go after Q, and they are going to get him. Another kill here for Boom Esports. They pick up one from the mid and the off lane, but that mid one, that's going to hurt. That mid lane, you're kind of relying on Garcha to have a good lane this time around, but solo to your Paj. And now, at least they find Tims on that Pango.
Yeah, it's a bit of bonus for Jackie. It doesn't compensate for the fact that the DP finds first blood. So Yopaj gets the XP, Yopaj gets the additional gold, he's going to feel very happy, and again, it's just back to the lane. Like, if you try to stand forward as a Viper, you don't really have the best armor, and you still have great magic damage coming through from Yopaj. He understands how far he can push himself with the Spirit Siphon, so it's not always just an instant burst coming through from the Viper, and that makes it a little bit tougher. At the least, though, we're looking at the bot lane, you know, just for a bit. Boomboy and Massa are hitting those spikes on the IO Mars, like the sustain they have with Mars IO is really strong. The overcharge just amps up Masaros' damage really well, so you can always kind of try to look for the harassment angle. I think Skem's doing a great job of just controlling the creep wave. You know, Enchantress just gets the enchant creep, shoves out wave with the Wild Wing Ripper to just apply a little bit more pressure and make it a bit tougher for Masa's play. He's not nothing too bad, but that is forcing Boomboy to be much more conservative here.
Oh, he gets very low. In fact, Masaros now going to try and run away from the static link. He did have the tether and the salve being used there by Boomboy, so he's going to be fine. Things are starting to get a little bit more heated down in the spot lanes. It does seem like Tino's looking for those openings now to try and make Masaros' life a little bit more difficult. It can be quite difficult while the IO is still around. Skem chase him down, but no, even Skem on the Ench has been having a few issues trying to control this lane. Generally speaking, the Enchantress is usually able to just dominate any lane, but it just hasn't been the case with the IO Mars. They just continue to sustain themselves. Now Skem, he'll go for a bit of a mid-lane rotation, trying to take those stacks away from Garcha Boy, but now Boom Boy's going to cut him off. Charge will be there, but they can't make it in time. So Skem just TPs away, and he's still being a nuisance with that Centaur. In fact, Garcha, maybe he gets a Centaur, maybe he doesn't. In fact, he does.
Yeah, it's a little bit of gold coming out from God's Boy that does force Boomboy and Q to kind of show up mid. They're kind of keeping their side lanes a bit exposed, at the least for Masa. Solo EXP for Mars, level 5 now, not going down. They will look for an attempt though.
They will, he'll get the heal off. They should have plenty of damage with the Viper Strike, and they do. Garcha Boy able to take his first kill of the game, but make that second. He's got the claim on the kill earlier on against Yopaj, but that was after he died. Really count too much. Yopaj top lane now, he's going to rotate over very, very early on, but you do have that 5-minute siege creep available. And he is level 6, so if he does want to, he can use the exorcism up. But now he's holding on to the skill point, and it doesn't seem like he's more than happy to just hit away at this tier 1 tower. No need to even pop exorcism, and that's a great sign for Boom. And that's kind of what you want to get done with this draft anyway, is get these early towers down. But now he has the exorcism available for that mid-tier 1 tower if he wants to go for a very early push right now.
And it's going to be dangerous for Motivate Trust to lose that much map control early on. We're already seeing Jackie playing in the jungle. He does have the Morbid Mask to sustain. He doesn't have the full Mask of Madness yet to make this a quick process. So your Luna's kind of set back from that slower laning start, blocking that forward core right now behind even Tino's Razor. So you kind of need a lot more investment onto Jackie to really build him up. And if that movement from Boom is not stopped, if that mid push does come out from Yopaj soon, there needs to be a strong response coming out from Motivate. Like, they've got Arena ready to go. They don't have a blink on Masa. They do not have Relocate up on Boomboy as well, so they can't just jump the backline easily or look for pickoffs. So they're gonna have to find some way of getting in and defending that tower and maybe just putting the bodies forward. They are hitting some early spikes. Gotcha Boy at level 7 is also pretty hard to burst down now and does have a lot of damage coming through with the Viper Strike. So you can kind of trade blows, look to set up for the team if they want to. But I think that lack of initial control outside of a good charge from Q is going to set back their angles just a bit. And that's going to make it a bit tough. If your Spirit Breaker was 6, this would be a lot better. But Q is trying to harass out Tims. It doesn't really get the bashes.
Nope. No
Dire's
17%
top
bashes
tower is
here
under attack.
for poor old Q. Definitely a bit unlucky here on the Spirit Breaker so far. I want to go back to the Viper as well, John. I mean, Gotcha Boy, we kind of talked about this, but a lot of your impact is going to be throughout that laning stage. And I've got to say, while he has gotten ahead of Yopaj, I wouldn't say they've really slowed him down that much. Yopaj is only about, what, 400 gold behind the Viper, and in terms of levels, he's actually ahead of the Viper. So you've got to ask yourself whether the impact of this Viper has been more than enough to actually make the pick worthwhile. And right now, I'm kind of leaning towards the no.
Yeah, it's not quite there. At the same time, the Viper does have item spikes still set up, so Dragon Lance, maybe a Hurricane Pike, a fast BKB will allow Gotcha Boy to just stand forward, be a secondary tank to Masaros, kind of complement those two big heroes up front, and kind of just give the IO a lot of options to just heal up a big frontline hero and extend these fights, allow the Viper to shine with that damage over time, and run from there. I think it's not quite over for the Viper to be strong, but that laning impact definitely wasn't as strong as you wanted to be, though. I agree with your point there. Still, Motivate Trust have managed to successfully move Jackie into the triangle. They've got some stacks coming through. They have the power treads up. Still a Mask of Madness, but the damage is coming out from Jackie, so should be able to clear out and build up eventually. There are wards watching him. Side of Boom aren't really keen on forcing that fight. This more passive playstyle benefits Motivate Trust, investing heavily onto your Luna to scale into the late game. I think Boom might start to consider, you know, looking for the angles to push, looking for some objectives. They're just willing to trade farm right now to maybe hit some more additional items to play with. And FBZ has a free lane top, so your OD is just basically top of network, clearing out every wave. With your Meteor Hammer, that's going to lead to a very fast Ags here for FBZ. It's even more control and more momentum, but I do worry about the fact that, you know, they take the top tier 1, they drop some heavy jungle wards, they have vision on the triangle, but they're not taking control of Jackie, and this Luna is actually just free farming all the stacks, no contestation at all.
They don't seem to be very concerned, but you've got to admit, John, I mean, while he is farming, he is still very far behind. I think one of the ideas from Boom is, if Tino can break the gap onto Jackie in these team fights and get the static link off, it won't really matter how much he's farmed. Is I think the idea for Boom. As they are going to spoke up as 3 now, and perhaps they will be able to address the Luna problem you talked about. Problem is, Boomboy is going to be around to break the smoke, so they might have to wrap around the long way. So they move up. They've got the vision of that Boomboy. He's going to back off at the wrong moment because Jackie now getting a jump. They do have Rolling Thunder, and they will pop it right onto that Luna as they try to heal her up and keep her safe, but there's not enough help around. Jackie's just been perma-stunned. Gotcha, he's going to show down to Tino. They'll try to do with the Razor, but the damage has been sapped away. Tino, he'll go down to the Nether Strike off Q. It's a 1-for-1 so far as Masaros rotates over, but FBZ is there to save. Tims, he's going to be fine on the Pango. That'll be it, a 1-for-1 trade. Both position one's going, but Tims, who we jumped again. Swashbuckle is available, but the spear is not gonna land. Tims, he is somehow still alive, but eventually does drop. Problem is now you've got to deal with this Death Prophet, but Relocate is out from our IO to get Masaros out. I can't say the same, however, for poor old Q on the Spirit Breaker, as he is gonna drop. So a pretty even trade across the board for both teams. Would you call it more worthwhile for one or the other here, John?
I think it's very even. I think for the side of Boom, the fact that they use So it means that they can't really get a strong push onto mid, but they're still trying. They've got Tino around. FBZ does have Meteor Hammer, so Exo's not the be-all and all of your push, and that will force Motivate to, again, have to move bodies up, have to defend that tier 1 tower, because if they lose it, their jungle is going to be harder to hold. Jackie's not going to find the place to farm. It gets a little bit more awkward. So as long as Motivate Trust holds on to mid, then it's very even. You're not getting much more from Boom. You sacrifice Tino. He still is working towards his BKB, and maybe it's time to give him a little bit of room to get that initial item up before showing into these fights. And Motivate Trust going to be happy to oblige and hold back and just farm as well. They're just going to take their time. Hit farm spikes on Jackie, who is still struggling. Bottom 2 right above Tino, but not much better off than him at all in this game. And the side of Boom can actually just focus around playing with FBZ. Like, the Ags is almost done. They've got the Meteor Hammer combos. The only hero that might be hard to catch out is King instead, who's just hold bot.
Yeah, they've got Skem. Nice setup, but now your Page again going to rotate back in on Masaros. This time Boom Bowie, he won't have to relocate for at least 10 seconds. We'll see if they can find the time. They're not dealing with that IO right now, so Boom Bowie, he'll just keep healing up as Masaros now. He's dropping low and does eventually go down. Is he able to get it? They'll try for the IO, but he will tether over to Garcha Boy. In the meantime, Tim's very low on HP, was being chased down by Q, but does eventually get the Rolling Thunder. He's going to be fine.
Just a lot of poking and prodding. In that exchange, definitely a win for Boom. Killing off Masura, slowing down the progression of the Mars into the Blink. He's going to stall out the initiation timing of Motivate Trust, makes it a bit harder to reach for the softer cores that you might want to prioritize, like, say, you know, Yopaj, or say taking out FBZ before you can get the Astral saves off. I think that's going to be a big part of what you want to do here for Masa. They are playing as 3-down bot. They could look for that shove-in, trade tier 1 bot to kind of open up the map space a little bit more for Jack to farm, and they will do that, but that will give Boom an option to go mid.
Q, he's gone too far. FBZ, he'll Astral up with the Meteor Hammer. They might force this fight. They do get the stun off onto the breaker. Q, barely about to walk away, but no, he'll tick out. Motivate Trust, they have not reacted fast enough. That's all going to help you call ZPC now. You'll get the Astral out. What the radio tables there? Astral or not, it won't matter. They do at least get Masteros away, and perhaps they can reinitiate and try to force another fight here on Motivate. They've got Q up in 5. They've still got the arena there on Masteros, so they can try to go onto Q around the Skem, and they aren't going to get him. Gets caught out. Mid-tier 1 still stands for Motivate. All in all, not too bad in the end.
Yeah. And that's a pretty good forced fight, even though you lost Q. You, again, defend your mid-tier 1. It's not getting chipped down too hard. It is at less than half HP. So a little bit more of a shove, and Boom's going to have that map control advantage. You're going to be able to keep warding up that opposite side jungle, ward up the triangle, prevent Jackie from farming, but they've shifted down into the bot jungle anyway. Masaros and Jackie taking the camps on the Radiant side. Same thing for Boom, taking control up top to build up on Tino and on FBZ. So the item spikes for both sides are still kind of lining up. Net worth lead not really there for either side. Less than 1k for Motivate Trust, but it's bouncing around. I think what I'm worried about next is really the items that are being built up. Again, the Ags on FBZ is going to ruin a lot of Motivate Trust initiation, a lot of what they want to do in these fights. Their control just disappears because of the save potential there. The charges in could just be interrupted by a good Astral as well if they have vision here on Boom's side. And for Motivate, there's no real big items to wait for except for maybe BKB. It's like Gotcha Boy's rushing a BKB right after the Dragonlance, so our Viper can stand for it. Will take away the damage of a lot of the heroes on Boom, but Tino's still going to enjoy sapping away. So I think you've still got maybe superior early timings here to play with on Boom.
Timing play on FBZ. Spear is there. That'll be a great target to start on. FBZ surely has no way to survive this, and he doesn't. Nice relocate play from Motivate. Outbound Q from the bot side, who else they found? They've got that IO with the relocate back. They'll at least find someone to trade with. Still great trade for Motivate again, as you got a call for a support. You'll be happy for Motivate Trust with that.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
They managed to kill off FBZ again, slowing down that key Ags time we talked about. Starting to punish Boom for maybe trying to be a bit greedy on a map, splitting themselves up, not respecting the fact that Relocate is there to punish when a hero's alone. And Motivate Trust are starting to play that run and gun fairly well. Masaros, that should be his blink flying in now.
Radiant
So it
structures
is going
are
to be easier
fortified.
for the Mars to just jump in an arena backline, finding some softer targets to open up these fights. That's something that Boom's got to be a bit cautious about. Their own team fights mainly reliant on Tim's rolling in. He doesn't have his own blink up. It's almost there. That blink disparity might cause Motivate Trust to maybe look to keep the aggression up, you know, get some action outside. They don't have the best vision to sustain that, but they will smoke up here.
They will. I mean, keep in mind, all these rotations Motivate are making is buying again so much time for Jackie to keep really farming up as Arena is down. They seem to love going after Skem. They'll take another. And Skem's really the only one showing on the map at all times, so he's tanking the ganks here for Boom Esports. But that is going to open up that mid-tier 1 tower a little bit. Garcha, he'll chip away. It shouldn't be a full tier 1 though. Garcha at some point is going to have to leave, but in the meantime, Motivate, they will take over that Radiant jungle. They might even pressure the bot tier 2 tower.
Yeah, they've got the damage out for the Masa to kind of get that done.
Radiant's
Again, with
bottom tower is
the
under
overcharge
attack.
running, Masa's damage is pretty darn high and he can shove in. So we'll force the response out.
Dire's
That's
top
buying more
tower is
space
under attack.
for Motivate Trust to keep the farm on Jack Boys, to hit that BKB timing in Gotcha Boy. Neither the Luna nor the Viper are getting jumped because you know, they are controlling movement, although they'll find Tims.
Yeah, another great charge in from Q with the Nether Strike, but Tims, he's going to be a bit of a tough target to catch as he does get the Rolling Thunder off, and he's out of it. Big commitment to try to get the Pang, but they are unable to finish off the job. In the meantime, Boom Boy, well, they know he was relocating back at some point. They will catch him out. I suppose that's the one negative about this combo, is you are probably always going to lose that IO, even if you don't get a trade.
Yeah, and that was a really well-timed Meteor Hammer from FBZ right on the relocate
Dire's
in.
structures
Maybe
are
not necessary, they had a lot of viewers around, but that will open up that push onto mid now. And side of Motivate Trust. Arena's going to be back up, so Monsters can put his body forward. Boom being very cautious about that shove. They know in the bigger team fights, Motivate Trust does have the tools to fight back, so they're not really going to overcommit on the objectives. Just again, playing conservatively, trying to build up where they can, force response tiles themselves, and maybe look for pickups here.
Charge out, Tim's going to be targeted, but he does have that swashbuckle if he does want to throw it out. For now, he'll just tank the charge. Skem, the high ground, is going to get some vision here for the side of Boom as Motivate. They'll try to go in, but Tino, he's going to show up. Arena is dropped, but it's quite defensive as Garcha. He's been left behind. Jackie, he'll jump in with the Eclipse. They found at least one on the Viper. Jackie's trying to fight Tino, but the damage output is too much from the Razor. Tino's out of there. Masaros, he's going to be left behind at Boom. He'll get Astral up and Boom Boy, he's not safe either. Tim's found another. It might just be a full team wipe as Boom Boy still trying to run. Tim's is having a look through that tree line. Boom Boy has successfully juked him out, but it's a 4-for-0 trade off the back of Skem on that triangle high ground, and they are right into the Roshan.
That is massive. They take the mid-tier 1. We have the space to do Roshan now. They have a lot of damage coming through with FBZ. The Ags is up now on our OD as well. It wasn't even in that last fight. Double astral charges, a lot of saves, a lot of offensive setup for Boom. Motivate Trust, they've been really committing onto Skem. You've been pointing it out, Mike. Every single time they've been jumping Skem, he's just not the target you want. Like, you commit Arena for an Ench and you don't even catch the Ench there in the Arena, just a bit off from Masaros. Gives so many opportunities for Boom to keep playing, and Boom has hit their spike. Like, the Ags on FBZ is big, BKB running on Tino means he can stand and fight, not a care in the world about the damage or control that Motivate Trust have. Q could try to bash through, but it's all really luck-based, and you can't just rely on that to break right now. So it's a massive start for Boom now. Motivate Trust, they're still trying to be aggressive. They're always kind of having to hunt down the Skem creeps because it's giving so much vision out, giving them the information as to where Motivate Trust would want to rotate it and the angles they'd want to take. They've also gotten a lot of value from their Radiant Ward here on the cliff. It's about to expire, but that allowed them to spot the relocate ganks, allowed them to pinch down the IO every single time and just set up the Boom. They've got some
Yeah, I mean, look, they're getting Skem, John, but this is Skem's game, I feel like. Maybe you don't want to lose that bot tier 2 tower, though, and that's going to be a bit of a problem here for Boom Esports. Skem himself, he won't mind dying. I mean, that's kind of his role right now on the Ench, is to continue forcing Motivate to target him while the rest of his team is able to keep doing what they want to do. And with the Aegis up, they will slowly be able to chip away at that top tier 2.
Radiant's
But it
middle
does seem like
tower is
Motivate, they're
under
going to try and force them to defend this mid tier 1.
Radiant structures are
Yeah,
fortified.
I think that's the only move you have here on Motivate Trust. You don't really want to fight into that Aegis, but you want to drag them away from tier 2. The TPs are coming in. Boom looks like they might be set up to fight. They've got the blink up on FBZ as well flying through. So it's going to be a lot easier for that OD to look for one target to just meet your hammer down with the Astral. And Motivate Trust can't even fully commit for the objective, so they're not getting as much out of the map as they'd want to here. Again, network-wise, a very even game, Mike. Less than 1k lead coming out from Boom. I just feel like these initial items coming out are a lot more impactful for Boom. Like, you look at Tino. He's at the point where he's just going to rush that refresh. Still a ways off from it, but once you do have that double static link, double Eye of the Storm, that's when Tino's really confident in Razor, and we've seen that time and time again for Boom. They'll smoke up a Streeto, see if they find something, but no one's in that triangle.
Radiant are
Certainly
scanning.
not. He can scan out, but again, triangle is completely empty here for Motivate. Could still find Gacha Boys. He's heading into that mid lane to perhaps go after that creep wave, but he feels like something is awry. Sits around by that tier 2, but they see him now. He's within vision, and here we go. Rolling Thunder does connect. No TP's coming in yet. Gacha, he'll be forced to BKB and just walk away. You do at least get the exorcism used up. The thing is, there is a creep wave, so your Parch, he can go off that tier 2 mid tower.
It's a good smoke dodge from Motivate Trust. I believe they did spot that out of their obs for it by the ramp on the rune. It still loses some objective. They're trying to find
Big charge in, and the arena out, but the Astral is going to save Tino. He'll keep trying. Static Link, it's not going to be enough. Your Parch now, he'll get the Siphons going. Motivate, they are dropping, and now the Sanity's out. FBC getting the job done. They got the Yule Scepter. They've got the big target. That'll be Jackie Goss to third. 3 down. In fact, it might be 4. Maxaros, he's stuck around to clear out the creep wave. They have no buyback.
Is under attack.
Oh, they have no buyback.
And without the arena, they can't really defend. They don't have arena, they don't have Eclipse, they don't really have the team fight control or damage to stop the rundown now from Boom. They're just gonna find mid-racks. They can't take any of the side lanes. Tier 2 still stands up top, Tier 1 stands bot. They can't really try to gun for Megas or even another lane, but this gives Boom such a massive start now. They're widening the lead, they're hitting their item spikes. It's just down to that timing, and Motivate Trust, they dodged the initial smoke well, but forcing that re-engage like that, just it doesn't feel like that's the right play, right? Like you don't have a way of jumping FBZ. You did manage to run down someone else first, but FBZ was so far back that with the Astral saves, you can't burst down to big targets. And sure, you find Tino's first life with Aegis. That's Aegis. He doesn't really mind at all. Comes back in, he already sapped away the damage of the Luna. So even if Jackie's standing and fighting, he doesn't really have that much damage to put and provide in that team fight, and just kind of falls short. Like once Yopaj was in with the Spirit Siphon, there wasn't enough burst on Motivate Trust to handle that. Like the sustained game from Boom with DP up front is just way too much to handle. I think they've got to find a way to deal with that, and that's kind of funny to say because they've got the IO. Right, Motivate Trust are the ones that should theoretically be playing maybe a bit heavier on region, sustaining someone in the front line. It just doesn't feel like it. Like none of the heroes are living long enough to really do enough damage back to Boom in that window.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Boom Esports with the tier 2 top tower gone. Roshan still a bit away to find out when it is respawning. Boom, they've already smoked up, but they might run right into Massage. FBC, he's there with the Astral. Immediate charge from Q to try and protect, but they have the Rolling Thunder. They should have plenty of control. Massaros, he's TP'd out. No relocate is there from the IO. So great relocate there to save Massaros' life. That does mean you're going to lose Boom Boy. But I suppose as long as it's not Massaros, you're happy.
And man, this ward spot from Boom has just given them, what, 3 IO kills at this point? Always finding out when Motivate Trust are playing bot. Like, they haven't gotten the reward here. It's just constantly replanted. And Boom's just been playing around that vision really well. I think Motivate Trust has to figure out that, yeah, that area is actually under Boom's control. They've got good vision there. We need to kind of deal with it. They get a good scan out to find Gacha Boy as well. The smoke rotation could lead to bigger kills.
Oh, she hasn't seen him yet. Within the fog, Gacha. You might run right into Tim's though. Tim's PC him yet either. Yopaj now will definitely know Garch is in the tree line somewhere. Will chase him down by himself, and eventually, well, they're right next to each other. They might be able to even smell each other here, John, but instead they're going to TP over to the die triangle, and Yopaj takes back over the die triangle. That's it. No fake he can find the Viper.
That is interesting. Like, they knew Gotcha Boy used the Nether Toxin. They could have tried to find the angle, maybe force the BKB TP, cut down on those charges, but instead opts to go back to farming, take control of the triangle. This will allow Boom to swing towards the tier 1 and potentially onto that tier 2, opening up the entire high ground. So they can easily gun for mega creeps from this point forward. They don't really have a creep wave for the tier 2 though, as the side of Motivate Trust have cut down bot, looking to shove in the high ground themselves. With the split push, they'll be able to take care of that wave as well. So they're keeping the map in check, preventing Motivate Trust from finding too much leeway to get their own objectives going in. Gotcha Boy?
Still avoiding them. Garcha, he's doing a great job again of just forcing people up top. And if you look at that bot lane, they were also pushing it in, but now Yopaj, he's found Jackie with the siphons out. Jackie, he does have Eclipse and BKB, but the Yule Scepter is going to be there. He'll have to TP out, and he should just make it out just fine. No way to get through that. That's kind of the game plan, I suppose, from Motivate, is they realize they're behind. The best you can do is keep the side lanes pushed out as top lane, or they miss an arena spear there from Masaros. But back to the point, John, you keep those side lanes pushed out, Boom Esports, they can't go high ground.
Yeah, they're doing their best here in Motivate Trust to prevent any more objectives from falling on their high ground. And again, they're trying to stall out to get Jackie really big. Aruna is at the Crystallis, going into the Ag Shard, so you can start spamming out the Lucent Beam, looking for the crits, and trying to do damage that way. It's still a slower process. I'm surprised Jackie actually skipped the Hurricane Pike. Like, he's had that queued up for a very long time. It feels essential up against the Razor. Like, if Tino just gap closest, we've seen time and time again, it's so easy to take away that Luminous damage.
Well, Thunder, there's still no Cartons around here, and this time around they finally got him. He's got a BKB, but can he get it off in time? Tim's will just perma-stun him up. There is no BKB for the Viper. Jackie, he'll try to take the time to reinvade his own triangle, but there's still relocated there. Boom, he'll jump in. Jackie, he's got the BKB up. He'll have to use it again to TP out. And they even used the relocate just in case. Problem is, Boom Boy is probably going to die now. Here, Astral's there. Meteor Hammer out. Can they try to force a fight? Maybe they can. Tether's out. Boom Boy, he is still fine. He will still make it. Dune now, he is forced another strike to try and survive on his own, and he does make it out to boot. All right. They don't lose the they don't lose the IO.
It's pretty nice, you know. Boom Boy managing to go home this time. Good use of stalling out time with the Motivate Trust, but eventually Boom will still find that bot tier 2. They will smoke up. No wards to find that here from the side of Motivate Trust, but Motivate Trust are also smoked up. So smoke on smoke, it's all about finding angles here.
He is. More important for Motivate right now, again, as they are 6k behind. Roshan is up to boot, so a big objective to play for both teams. As Motivate, they cannot afford to lose this next Roshan. Aegis and Shards up. And Boom Esports, they're going to be the first ones to see it. So they'd love to fight first. And Masaros, he might bait them in, but Q, he'll go for a charge. Up toward that top lane. In fact, never mind, he's found Tim's out. But Rolling Thunder, that's just the roll-up. Jump in again though, Yopaj. Uses up the SP. Enchan is there, but the relocate from Boom Boy is going to make it so they can get themselves out, collect themselves, and try to go back in, because there's no real choice here. You're going to lose this IO if you don't go right now. Meteor Hammer's off the mark this time around. Boom Boy, he's going to tether. Tim's, he is still going though. A big Rolling Thunder connecting on 3 heroes, but can they still make something out of it? Spear is there, it won't really land on much. Rolling Thunder still happening, but nobody being locked down. Instead, now Motivate, they'll charge back in onto Tino, but the Yule Center again from Yopaj to stop them in their tracks, and now the turnaround. Back on a Masaros, they'll Viper strike up Tino. Arena down defensively. Is it enough though? They've still lost Q, but they have found out Tims. The roll up again is not going to work out this time. Jackie, he's got the kill, at least in the Pangolier. So another Viper strike is there. Onto your Page this time. Jackie. Oh, there's the X's him out. They're committed all the way now. Boom Esports back in onto that Viper. Luna is going to BKB beyond. He does not want to borrow this, but Gacha Boy, he can not do the same thing. They've got plenty of time to go back after that Roshan here for Boom.
It's not going to take him too long to kill it off as well. The X are still running. Damage output from FBZ. Motivate Trust don't have the spells to fight in that area anymore. They're going to have to surrender at Roche. Big tools for Boom to see the high ground, to take the rest of the objectives up there, take the rats, open up the 2 cores, and potentially end the game. I think Motivate Trust are running out of options to play these fights. They need a really good arena spear to come out from Masa, and speaking of,
Saros being locked down heavily by FBZ, but there's no tower to TP to for Boom Esports. They can't really follow up on this. But they are running their way down, and Masros does reveal he is still around the area. Line's drawn out exactly where he is, but Boom Boy, he's going to relocate in to try and give him an exit strategy. He'll tether over, TP. He's there from Boom Boy. All right, Masros, he is going to be left behind.
Yeah, I guess that works. They did commit the Rolling Thunder early on from Tim's, so they might just think Masros has left. He does spot them out with Creep Wave. We'll still look to Creep Cut. This is a bit greedy for Masa. He could be punished.
Yeah, he does get punished this time. Media Hammer's going to fly in. AKB is there. He'll try to TP out himself, and they should not have enough damage. You'd almost like a basher on somebody, John, but they're all ranged heroes. The only one you can really get it on is probably Tim's.
Yeah, I mean, I don't begrudge Tim's if he does go for it. He is looking to finish up his Yules first for that added lockdown in the Rolling Thunder to stand in place. And yeah, they still managed to take the tier 2 anyway. So Boom's still very happy about this end result. That opens up all the lanes for a high ground push. They've still got the protection of the ages here. You've been seeing Tino use his refresh really well. It's just that timing for Razor. BKB refresh, Great Nail, Falcon Blade, Power Treads. You don't need much more outside of the BKB and refresh. Like, you are just set to go. You can just kind of destroy the enemy core by that. At the least, Jackie's got some protection now, Mike. He's got the Hurricane Pike up. So the stat links aren't going to sap as much damage away from Jackie. Should be able to still keep some right click damage for himself and contribute to the team fights a bit better. I just don't know if it's enough, or if this is timely enough for Motivate Trust to play with. They are 7-8k behind, not the biggest deficit. Your lead here with Yopaj is about 3k over Jackie, so your DP does have one major item over everyone else, and it is really hard to catch Yopaj.
Yopaj is going to try, but he's been caught out. Astral's there to save this time around. Eclipse wants committed, but it's doing absolutely nothing. Yopaj, he's still alive. Yulcept is there. Tina's going to jump in now. Tim, he's out with the Rolling Thunder, and he's connected on 2 heroes. In the meantime, Jackie, he is running to the fountain, but he's not going to make it out. Gacha, he'll be the second to drop. It's not looking good for Motivate Trust. They've committed all their buybacks, but that's about all they have. Jackie and Masros, neither one have buyback gold. And the jump in is there again. They've got Gacha Boy a second time. He's just fought back. They're trying to help out with the IO, but Gacha's gone. Boom Boy now, he'll be Astral up to boot. FBZ has been all over this game, just allowing nobody to get out. That's it, GG, Boom Esports. I can't say it was a convincing 2-0 against Motivate, but it is still Boom, John, and they are still undefeated in the SEA DPC Division 1.
Oh yeah, they stay clean here on Boom. Motivate Trust, bringing up a good fight, especially in the first game. Second game, you know, they draft really differently. They've been really targeted with Jackie. They couldn't really get him the heroes they want. Boom definitely did the research there and just keeping Motivate Trust away from that playstyle. And it's just tough for Motivate, right? Like, they couldn't go back to their failed-safe heroes. No Dusa, no Raid King here, and they were forced to kind of flex around their heroes in this game as well. We didn't see the overwhelming start we wanted to see from Gacha Boy on his mid as well, up against the DP. Just way too much sustain to play there, so our Viper didn't really shut that down, and Boom just managed to build up. I have to say, towards the end, we did finally see Ag Shard on OD ourselves, and you saw it, right? When he imprisoned Yopaj,